new here. Appreciate you tuning in to View. I think we got a couple of your friends in here maybe already.
Hopefully.
Um, but yeah, let's just start off with an introduction about yourself. My name is Graham. I'm the owner of the Euro and Travel channel here, where we do political talks, debates, social issues. We just talk about everything, get to know people's perspectives first, and then we can move into some debate discussions here. But give us an introduction about yourself.
Certainly. I'm Dakota. I'm from Baltimore, 36, transgender, black woman, lesbian, um, left leaning. Uh, I'm a performer by trade. I'm a magician, battle rapper, metal artist, musician, vocalist, author, actress, a bunch of different things.
That's awesome. Could you give us a little bit of story back of your your performing arts and also a bit of your transition story if you're comfortable with sharing that?
Sure. Um, as far as performing, I've been working with music since birth, essentially, like ever since I could work my vocal cords, music. But I first stepped on stage when I was 5 years old, doing stand up comedy for whatever reason. But I'm most well known for my magic, which I began after injuring myself doing parkour. After I tore my ACL, I had to have something to amaze people. So my grandmother bought me a $1 trick deck of cards, and it's been up ever since. I've been doing magic for 20 years. Guitar, I've been performing in public for, I think I had my first concert when I was 19. Um, I guess I could give like rough dates on the rest of it, but nobody really cares about that. They want to know about the transition. So I first knew that I was trans, really, when I was 5. I remember exactly where I was, the room I was in, the address I was at, the city and state I was. I remember exactly where I was when I had that thought, like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. So I came out when I was 32. It is the scariest thing I've ever done, and that is including almost accidentally jumping off of Angel's Landing when I was 18 in Zion National Park, Utah. I looked down, I saw nothing. It was like an 800-foot drop. I couldn't hear nothing. Like, just, I went deaf for a second. So I just scooted back and went on about my business. Coming out to my family was scarier than that.
Can I ask, is your family like how are they religiously and how are they politically? And how was it dealing with that?
I am a pastor's granddaughter. Most of my family holds rather conservative values and beliefs. So very religious. So politically, however, not incredibly involved. I'm probably the most political, which is odd because I come from a military family. So you would imagine that more people would be politically involved, but no, not really. We rarely ever have political discussions. It's mostly science and STEM stuff. Me and my son will talk astrophysics all day for no reason at all, just like making sandwiches in the kitchen. That's the recreation for us.
When you were 5, did you like how did you mentioned that you knew you were transgender and I understand thinking that and believing that and whatnot, but did you know what trans was? Well, I don't
No,
understand personally how you feel about it, but I can see what you mean. So, if you didn't know what trans was, how old were you when you figured out about the what being trans was?
when I realized what trans was and put two and two together for myself, I was
Hmm.
27. I was actually at the dinner table with a few friends, and I explained to them that I did have this feeling at that age, and they were like, "Oh, so you're trans then?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I know a few trans people, but I never put it together because I, at that time, had seen them as other, and I didn't realize that I didn't have to do that. Like they're just people." So I realized that, oh, this is what they're feeling. I might feel better if, and then what was it, 5, 6 years later, I realized, yeah, I do feel a lot better. So
Yeah,
that was the connection right there.
you mentioned your grandpa was a pastor. I'm guessing he's probably a Christianity, but what kind of Christianity or what kind of pastor was he specifically? And are you religious or no?
I am. I'm a Mormon. Um,
You're a Mormon.
yes, he was a Baptist pastor.
So did you because you mentioned Utah before, so I'm just curious, did you fall into Mormonism when you were over there in Utah, or is that how you first discovered it? Or how did you get into Mormonism? And also do you I'm not 100% sure about the Mormon religion, so sorry if I say something that's not true or incorrect.
No,
Feel
I'll
free to
gladly answer
correct
any
me.
questions. Yeah, I'll
But do
gladly entertain that.
Mormons believe in the Mormons are the ones that believe in having they can have multiple partners for their marriages, similar to
That is
Islam?
that is the fundamentalist LDS Church. That's not us. I'm part of what is known as the mainstream Mormon Church. Latter-day Saints. Mormon's actually technically a slur, funny enough. I know most people didn't know that. The word Mormon as a title came from the Book of Mormon, which came from one of the prophets that we hold that wrote in the Book of Mormon. Um, and so they started calling us that, like, as bleh. That's where it came from. But no, I was baptized when I was 16 in Baltimore. I moved to Utah for 6 months when I was 18, and I lived out there for a while. So by the time I got there, I was very well versed in the church and society. No, we don't have multiple partners. Well, I mean, they don't. I do. Uh, but no, that's not common practice in the church. We're, as a whole, monogamous, and we just have, husband wife. It's that kind of thing. The polygamy is still practiced in the FLDS church, and certain sects, or I guess you would call them groups of that sect, mostly in Utah. So you'll find them just south of where I used to live in Cedar City.
And can you tell us what was the name of the prophet? Because I'm just curious. I kind of remember his name, but I can't get it off the top of my head. So that's why I want to. What was it? What
His
was the?
name
Oh,
was,
Joseph Smith. There we go. Someone said it in the comment section.
there
It's
you go.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah. Yes, it was Joseph Smith.
And he came along when what was it, 1700s or the 1800s?
It was 18, I want to say 1832, I believe, was the first vision. The migration began in 1840 when they trekked from Palmyra, New York, toward Utah. They settled in Kirtland, Ohio, originally, and then got kicked out of there, so they had to continue west, and then eventually arrived in Salt Lake City, Utah.
What drew you to Mormonism? I'm just curious. I don't really know that many Mormons.
Um, so I was given a lesson and a pointer from a scripture when I was 15, about to turn 16, or 16 about to turn 17, in that general area. And I was given a lesson by one of the missionaries. He pointed something out in the scripture. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I stayed, not because I feel trapped, not because I'm scared, not because I don't want to leave, but because I like this organization. Like, we help the sick, the needy, the shut in, the elderly, the poor. And I think that even just that is enough for me. I'm still a member of the church because I want to be. There's nothing keeping me here but myself.
But don't all like most religious organizations do the same thing? And how do Mormons feel about transgender people? Because I imagine they probably feel similar to a lot of hardcore Christian churches out there. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it's
So
yeah. I mean, you're correct on the whole. Um, it's generally averted, like it leads to an aversion from most of the church, but that is because the church is generally conservative. I mean, but the thing is, I have yet to have anyone approach me with any kind of hard evidence as to why I shouldn't be the way I am. Like, it's just not going to happen. Also, Mormons generally are rather quiet and reserved, so they're not boisterous and in your face. Like, that's just not the community. Even if you were to attend a Mormon church service, it lasts exactly, I think, 2 hours nowadays. It used to be three, but now it's 2 hour block. Part of that is sacrament meeting, and then the latter half is split into two 30-minute blocks, which is two classes. Um, if you were to sit in sacrament meeting, when everybody's in the sanctuary, even the singing itself is very quiet, and I want to call it peaceful because I find it peaceful. It is tranquil. That's the word I was looking for. Very tranquil.
we have a question from a super chatter, but I will go ahead and correct them because but you started off mentioning that you were lesbian. So because this question asks when you're talking to a guy, I'm gonna guess that's not gonna happen if you're attracted to females unless you're bi. Um, but if you want me to rephrase this question to the other way, I guess I could. When you're talking to a woman, like do you use more of a feminine voice, or do you like more feminine women versus masculine?
I prefer feminine women. And no, I normally talk like this just because people can hear me, but my real voice is significantly deeper than this. I sound like Batman. I just don't use it very often when, introducing myself to people because it's quiet. Like you can't hear it quite as well. But ladies love my deep voice.
Yeah, no, you have a really nice radio voice, I will say.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I'm sure when you're doing your events, it's a good entertainer voice. I don't have that good entertainer voice. I mean, my voice is probably more feminine than your voice. If I'm going to be quite frank with you, I get accused of that a lot.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, by far. I mean, if we could do the voice swap, if you were open for that, I would be down for that. I'd be down for
I'd
getting a
be
little
down for
bit.
that because I wish I sounded different. I sure do.
Let's see. Is anyone else saying anything
Yeah,
interesting?
this is
Some
funny.
people are just joining in.
Okay, cool.
Hello, welcome in, guys.
Oh, this is getting
So
heated.
I want to save more of the questions for a little bit later because I have
Okay,
much more questions that everyone asks. But I just wanted to start with
absolutely.
some basic. You have a channel name, by the way. Do you have any social medias? Do you want to shout out
Yeah,
because people are asking you already in the comments?
yeah, that. So my biggest one is TikTok. That is at magic.dakota. As I said, I'm a magician, so that's kind of where I built my platform. That's magic.dakota, like the state. On Insta, I am my music stage name, which is Dracnus Shock. And y'all are going to want to listen to the spelling of this because it's a word I made up when I was 17. Draccnus. Shock. All put together. Dracnus Shock. That's my Insta. And on YouTube, it is at The Magic of Dakota. All put together. I think
Awesome.
that's all the ones that we want to, yeah.
Can you make stuff disappear? Or can you do like the rabbit disappearing stuff? They have questions about your magic. What kind of magic is it specifically? Is it mostly
I'm a
card
close-up magician,
games?
mostly cards and coins. Um, let's see, what can I do? So I'm going to close my eyes and pick a random card. You guys look at it. Don't tell me what it is. Is that an actual card or does it say something on it?
That's an actual card.
And y'all can see what it is?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put this on the bottom. Eyes still closed, right?
Mm,
We're going to take
yeah.
this and cut it up. One, two, oh, God, almost dropped it. One, two, three times. That's not it.
No, that's not it.
Okay, so I can open my eyes now. Take this and shuffle it.
No, that's not it. Okay, yeah, that's it. I can't lie. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty cool trick. That's a pretty cool trick. I'll have to
Thank you.
give it to you. That was pretty
Appreciate
cool.
it. Yeah, I've been doing magic for a long time, and this is actually a really good way to meet girls. Like I find this to be an easy conversation starter, good icebreaker. I can just approach anybody and just start doing this. Unless they're, I don't know, the only people that I find that are averted to card tricks are like the super religious and the super superstitious. Like, bro, I'm just doing fancy finger movements. There's nothing supernatural about what I just did.
No, I'm not one of those people. I think it's weird when super crazy religious people say, "Oh, that's like witchcraft." That's
Yeah,
kind of weird to
it's
me.
like, yeah, now you're being the strange one. It's just a card trick.
It's just a card trick.
That's all it is. Like it's so when I get introduced doing magic shows in public, I make sure that the MC introduces me as having quoted myself as using clever words and nimble fingers. That's it. I make sure that they say that so that people don't freak the hell out when I read their mind or whatever.
There's a lot of people spamming the comments. Nothing good. But anyway, what do you think about I don't know where we should go into the conversation now. There's a lot of things. I'm waiting for a bit more people, but I mean, when you do when you meet people for the magic shows, are you meeting these people at your magic shows? Or are you meeting them at like meetups, like magic meetups? Do you do magic meetups, or is it just that like performances and?
I have only done shows really. I've had like one or two jam sessions with like close friends. I'm friends with Chris DePamphlus. You can Google him. He's a really good magician. Spencer Horseman, who was on America's Got Talent a bunch of times, is one of my best friends ever. Um, I've only really had like jam sessions with them. So there are magic meetups, but I've never been to one. Mostly shows for me. I used to work at Poe's Magic Theater in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore at the Lord Baltimore Hotel. I was one of their resident magicians, but then I moved, and now I have trouble getting back and forth because I live like far away from there now. I'm still in the general Baltimore area, but no longer in the city. That's why I haven't been there. But yeah, I did most of my shows there. I get hired for like house parties, birthday parties. I had a There was a Jewish holiday in the winter, and I cannot remember what it was. It was a couple months ago. I got hired for that recreation center celebration, and then
So do
most recently I did the
you
birthday.
support Jewish people, or how do you feel about Israel?
These are not the same thing.
Okay, so you separate the two because a lot of people kind of put the Jewish people in the state of Israel in the same bucket.
A lot of people do, and I. It's not that I'm why they do, because I know exactly why they do, but I. I wish I could communicate to them. You're getting in your own way with your argument because they're just not the same. It's like saying, how do you feel about black people and how do you feel about Americans at the same time? It's not the same.
I mean, black people are Americans. I mean, if they're in
Yeah,
America.
like I'm American, sure, but if somebody's gonna think one way about black people, including me, it has nothing to do with Americans because there are black people in other places. So I'm not gonna group them all together based on the state that they live in. Like it has very
Yeah.
little to do with their
I'm gonna
geographic location.
I'm gonna ask you a little bit of harder questions now. As far as like your question before, or before as far as the topic in general that you sent me before, you were wanting to talk about what a woman is. So my question to you, like, what is a man and what is a woman?
Okay,
And
so my
also,
premise,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say my premise is that trans women are women. Like I'm just putting that down. Do you agree
Yeah.
with that?
No.
Here we go. Okay. May I ask why not?
XXXY.
Okay.
Blood tests. I mean, there's multiple things I can go over. Ovaries, uterus, blood test. But at the end of the day, you're gonna say, well, some women don't have a uterus, some women don't have periods, some women don't have this or that. So I'm just gonna say, XX and XY.
Okay. Now, what about the women that have XY?
Well, those are hermaphrodites, and those are
They,
like less than 0.007% of the population.
but they do exist.
Yeah, but hermaphrodites aren't transgender. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and that's not who I'm talking about.
Okay, well, if you want to say there's three genders or three sexes, I'll concede to that.
No, 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 no. All right. I mean, so gender is on a spectrum. There's almost an infinite number of genders. It's just how a person feels and presents themselves. That's completely different from biological sex. I'm talking about chromosomes. There are women femme presenting that do have XY chromosomes. Now, branching off of that, there's also XXY, XXX, XYY. Those variations do exist. Therefore, those people do exist. And
Yeah.
therefore, we have no baseline for what a woman can be defined as by her chromosomes.
No,
Just
those
can't
are
happen.
no those section those different genetic
Exceptions.
mutations, the different genetic mutations is why we have hermaphrodites. There's hermaphrodites, there's male and there's women. If you have a
No,
genetic mutation with your chromosomes, that means you're a hermaphrodite.
no, it doesn't.
Then what else are
Woman,
you?
you're still a woman. Your chromosomes are just different. Like you still have female parts, right?
Well,
Your
you also have a
chromosomes.
penis though.
No, you did. No, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
And she had it removed at
She doesn't.
birth then.
It didn't exist in the first place.
Well, I've never heard of that then. You're gonna have to show me a
I
source for that.
know. I gladly.
But we got three questions back to back here. This one's a magic related question, a little bit off topic. But have you ever seen Chris Angel live, or did you have any influence on your magic?
Chris Angel had influence on my aesthetic. Back before I started dressing like this, I was just whatever was in the closet. I hated that, and I'm glad I got away from it. So Chris Angel had influence on my aesthetic, but I actually dislike Chris Angel immensely. I do not like him. Can't stand him. But no, I've never seen him live. I was in Vegas a year and a half ago for a magic convention. Um, Now, will I ever say that Chris is not an accomplished magician? I would never say that. I just don't fucking like him. Look at that guy. Yeah. So, Klinefelter. Going back to the topic at hand, Klinefelter syndrome, which is 47 chromosomes, XXY. This can exist in a human without them having both sets of genitals. There's also trisomy. I'm not pronouncing that right. I believe it's trisomy, which is 47 chromosomes, XXX. Um, and then there's this one doesn't have a name, but it's 47 chromosomes XYY. This can be
Do they
found on
have any?
genetic.org.
Do they have any mutate? They must have other mutations other than their sexual organs. It can't just be their chromosomes. There has to be something else that's different about them.
Why is
Can you
that?
tell me the symptoms? Can you tell me the symptoms of having this genetic abnormality?
It's literally just their chromosomes. They develop normally.
How do you spell the first one again?
That is Kline,
Yeah.
Felter,
Okay, I found it. I
Felter.
found it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I
So
found
the page that I'm looking at is
it.
genetic.org/variations.
Yes, there is. There's leading to physical, reproductive, and developmental differences. So sometimes your
Sure.
reproductive organs are different. Sometimes you have developmental differences, and sometimes you have different physical conditions. So this person
Sure.
would be classified as a hermaphrodite or an intersex person, if you want to call it intersex. Okay, if you want to call it whatever it is, but it's not a man or a woman. This is a genetic abnormality, and it's probably less than like maybe I don't know. We can look up how many people a year deal with this, but it's not very many. So they are still in that hermaphrodite category. I mean, we can look up what intersex means if you want to get into
Well,
that.
we don't have to. I mean, we don't have to. I'm not holding you to politically correct terminology standards at all. I'm talking about like actual information. So here's another example. My aunt was born XX chromosomes. She's a female. She has an arm and a half and only 4 fingers. What
Yeah,
does
but
that have
she's
to do
still
with
a woman,
chromosomes?
right?
I would call her one.
Well, is she intersex? Does she have one of these conditions?
I've never checked her pants.
Well, then I don't know. I'm not going to make any comments on that. But all I'm going to say is intersex refers to individuals who are born with genetic, hormonal, or physical sex characteristics that do not fit the typical traditional male or female. So anyone that has any differences of themselves, it's not male or female, with their
Hmm.
genetics is considered intersex. So all of those different conditions you listed are all scientifically considered as intersex. They're not like a male, female, or they're not their own gender unless you make it into something else. But
All right.
here's
Here.
another thing. Here's another chatter that we got here before you respond. He says, "Great live, guys. Hang tough, guests. Some people support your right to choose, even when they are straight off topic. But looking like Lindsey Graham died of a ruptured aorta from chronic heart disease. Yeah, I already heard about the chronic heart
What?
disease.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Here's a
Sounds like
little
a
bit of more criticism from chat. I mean, I'm sure you're
hmm.
used to this. This gentleman says trans women are not women; they are men cosplaying as women. How do you feel about that?
That chatter can't possibly prove that. He can't because that chatter doesn't know what a man or a woman is and cannot define it.
Yeah, individuals with X chromosomes XX develop as female. Individuals with XY chromosomes develop as men. And if they have any
Okay.
chromosomes genetic differences, there's a scientific term already established for that. It's called intersex. But as
Right.
far as
So,
go ahead. You can respond. I can see you want to respond.
so yes, I do. So you see how you just use two different terminologies, and this is not about political correctness. This is about science. You said male and female and man and woman. These are completely separate things, and you know that because you said it just a few minutes ago. Gender is different from sex. So
Well,
what?
you know what the definition of a woman is? It's an adult female
That is one of the definitions. There's
with
also
X,
a
Y
certain
chromosomes.
no,
Good.
because if a baby female is born with XX chromosomes, would we call her a woman?
No, because she's not an adult. The keyword.
Correct. So what is a woman?
Yeah, a woman's an adult female.
Or somebody associated with the gender roles assigned to women in that culture.
What is the gender role? What is the gender role?
What is it?
A gender role for in a culture? There's a million different things. You could say that I'm acting like a woman because in so and so country only men or only women, do these talking whatever. Just a random made up example. But
Sure.
you could say the same thing as me about that as anything else. I mean, if you're just gonna say everything is just culture and a construct and there's not any definitions to anything, then anyone can be anything. What's stopping me from saying I'm a woman right now? Uh and I don't know, going
Are you
into
a woman?
doing something and then saying I'm a man 2 seconds later. If there's no clear cut definition, what is stopping from someone saying they're trans 1 second? Like I say I'm trans right now, I'm gonna take a nap. When I wake up, I'm just a regular man.
Well, we
That's
call
my
that gender
question.
fluid. Yeah, we call that gender fluid. That is also a thing. The fact that people argue against it tells me that people aren't trying to protect women and children. People aren't trying to normalize society. People are just scared of thinking extra. That's it. That's all that has to happen. Even if you don't necessarily think of me as a woman, if I can just have my three words, she, her, and my name, the fuck else do I need? Like, we don't have to be associated with each other,
Yeah,
right?
but thinking extra, I think that's a great thing to say. Thinking extra. When a lot of people live in societies, or a lot of people live lives where they already have so many things going on. They have businesses to run. They have their family to take care of. They have this, that,
Mhm.
X, Y, Z. They're learning mathematics. They're learning all this educational stuff in their brain 24/7. Do we really have to Do we have to force people to? Do we have to force this on the people when they already have so much going on in their life, and this isn't going to improve their life versus learning about something like science and mathematics where they're already preoccupied and focused on certain things. Do you think that fills people's energy and brain with a lot of time wasting and a lot of things that really don't matter to them? I know it matters to you and other people in the community, and I'm not saying people to be disrespectful or whatever. I'm just saying that a lot of people, like, there's always new terminologies, there's always new things that are coming out, like, almost daily, like this thing with what is it called, like z zerm pronouns. I'm pretty sure those came out in the last couple years, at least from what I've seen. So there's always new terminology, and for to try to mandate people learn this, otherwise you're like a quote unquote bigot, or you're like a fascist, or you're like whatever, because you're not keeping up with the terminology, because maybe you're older, or maybe you're 50 or 60, or maybe you just have a lot of stuff going on. But what do you think about that in general?
So, number one, I also have all those things going on. I'm a STEM student. I'm a psychology major. I'm kind of smart. So yeah, my mind is also equally as preoccupied because I'm a person too. That doesn't factor in. What is you ever watch wrestling?
Not really.
You know anything about any wrestlers? Like any of them?
uh I mean, not
Do you
really.
know what
Huh?
do you know a single wrestler at all? Have you ever heard
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name
I've
of
heard of
any
John
wrestler?
Cena, sure.
Cool. Do you think that's his real name?
No?
Okay. Well, let's see. Have you ever heard of any rappers ever? Can you name me one rapper at all?
Yeah.
Dude, who is it? Okay, who is it?
I don't know. The Migos?
My
Quavo?
God. Okay, cool. Quavo. Quavo's one. Do you think Quavo's his real name?
No.
I know for a fact because I know what his real name is. So you do see how we can exercise that extra thinking into someone else's identity and gladly go along with no problem. But when it comes to trans people, all of a sudden it's an issue.
But if I don't keep up with rappers' names, I might walk up to a rapper and say, hello, Robert James, how you doing?" and shake his hand, and then he's gonna look at me like, "What the fuck?" But he's not gonna call me a bigot or any name calling. He's just gonna look at me like, "What the fuck?"
No, he would probably get pretty
Or
mad,
if
but
he
also at
knows
the
me,
same
if
time,
he knows me, then he's not gonna care. If
all
if
right.
I knew Quavo, and Quavo, if I grew up with Quavo and I went up to him and called his names when it was just me and him around, and I called him his name, I don't think he would care.
Well, no, that would depend entirely upon your relationship with him. But you know him as Quavo, right?
Yeah. So people that have a relationship with you, can they also call you by what they grew up with you if they knew you all your life, or would you think that's like an offensive action if it slips up? Like, how do you think about that? If someone grew up with you all their life and they don't use your correct pronouns and they slip up, are you offended by that, or do you just think, okay, because they knew me for so long, I'm just gonna let it slide?
I am never offended by a slip up. Slip ups happen. I've had to change people's pronouns and names in my own head. And yeah, it's a little difficult at first. But once I make it a habit, it becomes second nature. So slip ups, no, that doesn't
And I'm
bother me.
not and I'm not
Purposeful
trying to dis go
misgendering
ahead, go
and
ahead.
dead naming, that messes with me.
I'm not trying to discredit you and say that you don't do anything with your life. I think you're a really a good person and a nice person from what I can tell overall. But as
Thank
far as I know you're busy. Everyone's busy, but some people are like 100% like occupied. Like they don't even have 1 minute to even like do anything whatsoever because they're just so occupied. And I don't keep up with all the rappers' names and all these celebrities and all this news. I mean, I try to some time to time, but there might be
you. Attorney
something
your
that I
full
missed. Like
name.
I still don't know what Zim and Zur are. Like, what is a Zim and Zur
Oh,
pronoun?
okay, gotcha. Yeah, those are neo pronouns, and they confuse the fuck out of me. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I am lucky enough to not have to address anybody by those pronouns because nobody I know uses neo pronouns. That one, that annoys me, to be quite honest. It does.
So then
I don't.
basically you're saying that this whole culture thing is getting out of hand yourself. Then, whatever
Oh,
you
I
want
didn't
to
say it was
call it.
getting out of hand. I just said
Well,
it's a
when
little
does it get
difficult.
out of hand? At the point that even people that are in the part of the community don't even understand it. Then when does it get out of hand?
That just means there's new information for me to understand. So
Well, I've
now
never met a single person that does understand it. But here's a little bit more of a topic, I guess.
okay.
This guy wants to know: does Guess have a BLV, a trans vag, is the same thing as a cis/bio vag? What do you mean by that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna need some clarification.
He dropped another thing. He said, "What are guest opinions on bottom surgery? Specifically, do they agree or disagree that a cisgender or a biological vagina is different than a trans?"
Um, yeah, they're different. One was physically constructed by human hands. The other one was formed biologically in the womb. So, I mean, by principle, they are clearly different. I'm wondering what the actual question was here because that seemed veiled. There seems to be some other underlying question here. Like, what do you really want to know?
I guess they want to know your opinions on bottom surgeries in general. I guess if you can add on to that.
I mean, it's the same as any other surgery. I don't really have an opinion on it. I have friends who have had it. That's, I mean, it's
Oh yeah, he wanted to know if you had any surgeries or any
there
hormones
we
or anything
go.
like that.
That's the real question.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the question.
there we go. So I've actually never had any gender affirming care.
Not even any hormones. Tom Pepin TV says no such thing as chicks with dicks. There's nothing but dudes with tits.
Okay, so it sounds like Tom has a fetish. That's what that
uh,
sounds like. Because if there's no such thing as with dicks, then there's only dudes with tits. Then you're differentiating between women and men, first off, and you think that a dick makes a man, right? Right. Okay. What if yours is that big?
you're
That's
still
a
a
question.
man. It doesn't matter the size of your pecker. It's still a man
But how do you know it's a pecker?
because you have testicles.
Do you?
Yes, unless you have ball cancer, unless you get a test to your cancer, then yeah, you have balls.
What if you're born without them?
Well, then that's a genetic abnormality. Most men have
Yeah,
balls.
yeah,
That's like me saying the sky is blue, and but you say no, 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 it's purple today. But you know, generally, it's blue, right?
okay,
If I
yeah,
say the
sure,
sky is
generally,
blue, the sky is blue. It doesn't mean just because the day it's purple, it's not the sky isn't blue. It just means on a rare occasion, you just because there's outliers, it doesn't disprove the rule. And
yes, it
this is
does.
all through science. Just because there's outliers, it doesn't disprove the rule.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Just because this is green doesn't mean that a darker, different color or shade of green is not green.
Right. So they're both green, but one is visibly different, right?
Sure.
Okay. So say he's born without testes, very small pecker. You can't really tell, but he presents as a man.
That's
Is
a
that
man.
still a man?
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
man,
man.
right? That's a man.
As long
What
as
if,
unless they're born with one of those conditions you mentioned before, then they're intersex.
sure, but as a condition of a category, it cannot be broken. There can't be
Okay, so
outliers
then the
in
only
that category.
conditions is XX and XY then. I'll agree with you. Only
Well, we
conditions
just
is
proved,
XX and XY. Huh?
but we just proved that there are other variations
Yes,
on the
those are called
chromosomal spectrum.
intersex. Are they
Okay,
not
all right.
called intersex? Do you disagree with them being called intersex?
Not every time, so I can't categorically say everyone. I can't.
Well, if you have
I
smaller balls, I wouldn't say that's intersex unless it's in your genetics.
well, okay, now see, now we're moving away from XX and XY, and you've broken the category yet again.
I'm not breaking a category. All I'm doing is giving an example a little bit off topic.
No, no, no. I'm not. I don't mean we're like
It's
veering
all
off.
the chromosomes. If it's not XY and
No,
not
it's
XX, then it's called intersex.
no, it's not.
Give me an
Not
example
every.
of it not being intersex. Give me one condition that's not intersex.
Okay,
Even if you had balls that were like super tiny, like not any man has, that would be intersex. That would be an intersex condition.
but what if he had that same physicality and was born XY? You don't know until you run the
Then that would
karyotype.
just be a regular size of, testicles. If there's
No, it
no
would.
genetic abnormality, then it would have to be a regular size of testicles. Just like everyone's born with two arms unless there's a genetic abnormality that makes
I
one of your
just
arms
told
super
you my
short.
aunt has
That would
an
be
arm and a half.
chromosomes.
I just
Sorry?
told you she has normal chromosomes. That is a woman. Regular XX chromosomes. This is somebody that I
Mhm.
know personally. She's right the fuck over
You
there.
said that she had yeah, okay. So then she's a woman.
Okay, but she was born with an arm and a half. Like you just brought up genetic
An
or
arm and a
abnormality.
half doesn't change your sex or your
Abnormality.
gender. Missing if I cut off my finger tomorrow, it doesn't make me less of a man.
Well, no, it wouldn't. But also, why would you cut off your finger? That's not what I'm talking about.
Accident.
I'm talking about physical abnormalities. That's what you said. Physical abnormalities.
Physical abnormalities ties into the categorization of intersex. But if you want me to read that again to you, I can. I mean, it covers literally everything in intersex. That's what I'm saying. If you're not XY and XX, if you have some kind of genetic, hormonal, or physical sex characteristics that do not fit the typical definitions of male or female, this can include variations in chromosomes, genitals, hormones, internal reproductive organs. Intersex is just an umbrella term that encompasses a variety of conditions that are
You know what?
medical disorders and the chromosomes and
Okay, I'll just go ahead and concede that. I will concede that completely, outright. However, if a person is intersex, does that determine their gender?
if they're intersex, well, as far as their gender goes, there's a lot of different things that can happen with that. The
Mm.
majority of intersex people, they do. I wouldn't say that their gender would forever be intersex, but they lean more towards an intersex because the majority of intersex people, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure every single intersex person that has working sex organs, only one of them works because some people are born with both organs, but only one of them works. And the other one, if they're born with both organs, most this isn't even all intersex people. This is a small group of intersex people. If they're born with both organs, sometimes they'll remove one or another. But that's normally at birth, or that's when later in life when they're having difficulties.
Okay, not what I asked. I said, does that affect their gender?
No, their gender is intersex.
No, it's not.
Then
Sex
what
is
is
in
their
the name.
gender?
Their gender is whatever they say it is.
Well, that's
Gender
because
and sex
well, do
are
you
different.
think you can change your sex as well, or do you just believe you can change your gender?
Biologically, no, you can't change your DNA. Absolutely not. I
So
know
you
I was
can't
born
change your
male.
sex. Okay, so you
No,
can't
you
change
can't
your
change your
sex,
sex.
but you can
No,
change your gender. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Therefore, I still stand on the premise trans women are women.
But you do, but as far as sex though, you do realize that there's only man and woman as far as sex. Well, I would put hermaphrodite still in sex. I would say intersex is number three.
Male and female. These are biological science terms. Male,
Yeah, but
female.
there's
You wouldn't
intersex
call a
too.
male
Yeah,
correct. Yes, yes, there is. But you keep saying man and woman. That's kind of my whole point here. Trans women are
male
women
and
because
female.
woman is not a biological term. It's not.
Okay, what about someone that's younger? Because you have to be to be a woman, you have to be an adult female. So what if you're not adult and you're transgender? Would you be a trans girl or would you still be a trans woman?
You'd be a trans girl.
Okay, I'm just asking for
Yeah,
clarification.
yeah, no, that's no problem. All right, so
Uh,
like it, when we
go
when we
ahead.
talk about gender and sex being conflated with biology, you wouldn't call a male tree a man, right?
Well,
So one of the
animals,
conditions,
trees and plants are different.
oh, are they? Because they're male and female and
Well, they're not
intersex.
in the same species as us. They're not even. They
Correct.
don't
So
even.
that's one of the conditions of the category. It has to be human. So that's number
Yeah.
one in defining what a man or a woman is. Has to be human. Number two, let's say, well, no, you know what? I'm not even going to give any fucking hypotheticals because those get to be confusing. And then there's like straw man fallacies and shit. No, no.
We got a bunch of comments if I can respond to them real quick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna go one by one. You can just tell us your thoughts and opinion after another. This guy says even a kindergartner can tell you boys have penises, girls have a vagina.
Who told that kindergartner that?
Probably their parents or the school system, or I don't know, probably someone of those.
Therefore, if it is being accused constantly that trans people are confusing the kids and indoctrinating them, is that the case? Or were they indoctrinated before they even arrived at school by their parents who told them this is specific and this is how it is? There is no other way. That sounds like indoctrination to me.
Well,
They've already
I
been
think
told
that's a
that a
whole nother
thing is a
topic.
thing.
I would like to jump back into that topic, but there are some other questions I would like to respond to. This
Yeah,
guy,
no.
Tom Pepin TV, he says leave the size of the package out of this discussion altogether.
Oh, poor baby. I'm sorry.
And this guy that's also in the Discord, he's Democrat, he's a lawyer, but he says you guys need a universal gender, definitely to work with. I don't know what you mean by universal gender. Don't know what
I'm
that
not sure.
means.
Oh, universal gender like definition. Like, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to give bro the benefit of the doubt because I didn't understand that either.
Yeah. Tom Pepin says I'm like a 5-year-old with a bottle of whiskey and fireworks. I also think guest is pleasant. I don't know what you mean by bottle of whiskey and fireworks. It sounds like you're probably gonna like blow off your finger.
Haven't the slightest. Excuse me.
Tracy says the majority of trans people are not born intersex. I probably have to agree with that. I don't know
Yeah, I
if you
mean, I
agree with that.
wasn't.
You would?
I was assigned. I said I wasn't born intersex. I was assigned male at birth. But that's the reason we say assigned because like they all they do is look. We don't get karyotyped upon birth. If we did, there would probably be a lot less fucking arguments. I promise you, because a lot of people like I'm not gonna say most. I'm not even gonna give a percentage, but significantly more than one person thinks that they are male or female, and may have one of these syndromes. They just don't know it because they've never been karyotyped. It exists. That happens.
Chris Law says too much balls talk for me, and I'm a lib. Yeah, I'm sure. But where were we? We were talking about indoctrination. As far as the parents indoctrinating their kids, when you have a
Hmm.
child, you said you're a parent, so I'm sure you agree with this. As a parent, one of the purposes of having kids is that way you can instill your values into them. You don't want outside influences, like just like you would want your kid to respect other people's genders and their pronouns and whatnot. That's your beliefs. You're putting those values in your children, and you might make your child, you might introduce your child to Jehovah Witness or whatever your religion or your faith is. I wouldn't call that indoctrination, but someone else might look at that and say, "Hey, that's indoctrination." I would just say, "Well, I mean, what do you expect? You're their parent. They're your kids. So what else would they really expect from that?" But as far as parents teaching their kids about science in a more traditional way, or them teaching science in a more liberal way, I don't look at either sides of that as indoctrination unless they are trying to unless they're trying to do something that's like physically harming the kid. Rather it's sending them to, I don't know, military. I mean, they can send them to military school, do what you got to do, but I don't know, just don't do anything that's harmful to the kid. I'm not a big, if you're 18 years and older, I say do whatever you want. Rather it's whatever, or you want to do a surgery when you're 18, or you want to take hormones, you want to be transgender, or you want to do whatever you want. Once you're 18, you're an adult. Until then, I kind of just look, you're under your parents' guidance. They're going to teach you things, and it's their household.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound like a very traditional view, because I was raised the same way. However, the way I raised my son isn't raising him with, a lot of conservatives may assume that because I'm transgender, I might push that on my son. That would be indoctrination. First off, let's break down the word indoctrination because the root word is doctrine. It has nothing to do with science or provable facts. It is a doctrine, it is an idea. That would be me pushing that idea into him. Rather, I instead have him think for himself, ask questions, open his own mind, make up his own opinions. Like I don't push it. The hardest thing that I had to do with him was come out to him, and he responded with one word. Okay. He was 10. I just told him, and he was like, all right, cool. And that's just been his normal ever since. That's just it. It's funny because kids take it so much easier than adults. I met my friend's daughters just yesterday, and they got my pronouns right every single time. They call me my name every single time. Not once did they slip up. And that's not any slight to people that do slip up because the shit is hard. So I was amazed, honestly. And these little girls were like what, 7 to 15, something like that. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, that's Miss Coda. They had
How
a
do you
lot of
feel
fun with me. They were singing
minors
karaoke and
that
shit.
How do you feel about minors that get pushed on to surgeries by their parents or their doctor?
I have not once heard of that happening. Can you give me an example? You can go ahead and list it off.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade's son. He was like 16 years old, and he moved there to California to get his son a transgender surgery before he was 18.
Oh, his daughter. Oh, fuck, I can't
No, his
remember her name.
daughter now, but before the transgender, or before the surgery, it was a he, I guess.
Well, yeah,
Before
he
the
was
surgery.
raised as a boy up until a certain age when he came
Mm-hmm.
out to his parents because he felt comfortable enough to tell them. Now he's a girl, and Zaya Wade, Zaya. Yes, okay, cool. So that was a decision made both by Zaya and both her parents. Parental consent is a necessary condition. So this wasn't them pushing that onto her. This was her
Yeah.
telling them, "Hey, this is what I want," and they signed off on it.
Well, I
So no,
agree. I agree. I'll go ahead and concede to that one, but that was just
okay,
an example of someone that was under 18 that
yeah.
was had the surgery before. I'm sure there's many. I'm sure there has to be at least one story out there where someone, maybe their
Oh,
parents wanted them to be transgender, or the doctor. If that would happen, and just a made up scenario, would you think
mhm.
that's bad, or would you think that's good?
That would be fucking horrible. No, I wouldn't like that shit at all. Yeah, no, that would be indoctrination. Like if your child had to
How do you
come to
feel
me.
about 6-year-olds even getting like their penis removed or any start taking hormones or anything like that?
So 6-year-olds, that doesn't happen. If they
Well,
have
under
to.
California state law, anyone under 18 can get, there's not even an age requirement. Anyone under 18 can get a gender reaffirming care, no matter how old you are, as long as you can get a doctor's signature and your parents' consent.
Okay, so what I think you meant to say was can get gender affirming care, and there's the other thing that you may have gotten a little confused with is gender reassignment surgery.
Well,
So
okay, what
what
do
you
you
said
think
was
about a 6-year-old taking hormones then? It's surgery too, it's everything. I can look up the law if you would like.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, go ahead and pull that up. I believe that it exists, but a 6-year-old taking hormones, their own natural hormones haven't even kicked in yet. I'm not well versed enough to know anything about like a limitation on that or why anybody would even begin to do it in the first place. They haven't hit puberty yet, but there are puberty blockers. So coming closer to that age, I can understand it. There was this little girl named Jazz. She had a whole show made about her called I Am Jazz, and she's been a girl damn near her whole life. I'm talking
Do
like
you But do you
three
think a
days old.
6-year-old is capable of making a irreversible, life-changing decision?
Irreversible? Hell no. No, not by themselves. Absolutely not.
Would you
But
agree that you can't go into puberty at 25 years old, 26 years old?
that you can't go into puberty at that age?
Yeah. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. I don't think it's possible.
I believe it is.
You believe it is. So you think puberty blockers are reversible. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
And what study or what scientific or article do you have showing someone that's gone into puberty at 25 years old? I mean, if a grown man, if I start taking testosterone right now, I'm not gonna go into. I mean, I already went through puberty, so that could be a thing too. But if I start taking testosterone or whatever hormones, I'm not gonna go into puberty. Obviously,
Wait, say that again because that sounded wrong.
if I start taking testosterone, I'm not gonna go into puberty.
Well, not if you, as a man, start taking testosterone with a normal testosterone level. If you take more testosterone, you're going to look like a jacked bodybuilder with a, and
But
you're
once you're
you're going to start
25, your
hurting.
bones can't grow, your bones stop growing, your brain
Uh-huh.
stops growing,
Mhm.
your testicles can no longer grow, nothing in your body can grow. And part of puberty is bone growth, muscle growth, literally everything growing, like your testicles, your face, your nose, your facial features. So if you can't grow, if you're physically able to grow after 25 years old as a man, how is it possible to enter puberty?
Because puberty has less to do with body growth and more with hormonal activation.
No,
Your hormone,
most of it's body growth.
no, it's not. That's just a physical.
Even when women hit puberty, they get those different pelvises, their hip bones change, their bone structure changes, and when men
Mhm.
hit puberty, I mean the hormones are like a part of it. But if we break down the whole what's in puberty, I mean, human hormones are a part of it. But just having a high testosterone level does not mean you're in puberty. Just because you never were in puberty before. But there's a couple questions why you're, if you want to respond, you can. But there's a couple things I want to
Sure.
put in here. Tom
Okay.
Pebben says outliers don't count. They hide many behind the few. Yeah, they hide many behind the few.
Uh,
Um,
if an outlier exists, excuse me, in a category, then the category is broken. A category is a specific set of conditions that have to be met to be that thing. If something exists within that category, but then has a thing that is not one of those conditions, it is no longer in that category.
well, isn't trans its own category?
Trans would be its
Trans
own
women.
category.
Isn't a trans woman its own category?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
Okay, so if it's its own category, if everything you just said categories can't intermingle. So if a trans woman is in its own category, then how can it be a biological woman?
I never said biological
So you're
woman
not
because that
arguing for
puts
you're
them
not
women
arguing
that
from a
go together.
biological standpoint, then you're just arguing in a standpoint from the meaning of gender, basically. The social construct of gender.
You would have known that had you paid attention to my premise to begin with. But now
I
that
was
we've
paying
opened the door,
attention to your premise. I just want to clarify some points.
yes. S- Okay. Let's start from building blocks. Sex and gender, two different things. Uh, Biological and woman don't go together. Those are that's not how that works. That's like saying purple seven. Seven's not purple. That's not a thing. Um, so yeah, if we start with just these four tenets, my argument is solid.
So, what four tenants? What about intersex?
And
Intersex, male,
they,
female.
they exist. They are there. They are alive. But
Okay,
no,
go
yeah,
ahead.
go to the comments. Please go to the comments. I love comments.
Here's a comment. Someone says, can you palm a basketball?"
Can I palm a basketball? I don't know the last time I fucking held a basketball. I'm not sure, but I do have very large hands. Yes, my girlfriends
Uh,
love large hands.
Someone says Chris Law gets advice from a jackass. I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm
Here we
not
go.
sure.
Here's another one. It hasn't happened. It is a black swan fallacy. Graham's question of how do you feel about this hypothetical scenario? Okay, fine. Black swan fallacy. I agree, but we both throw out hypothetical scenarios out there?
Yes, we have. We
I
absolutely have, but we also know when to concede. We do.
okay, fair enough. As far as so you would you agree that you see a difference? You think you can't change your sex, and you say you can change your gender. But
Yes,
what about would you say that the bathrooms are based on sex or gender?
I would say that bathrooms are based on gender because nobody knows what sex anyone is in the bathroom, or at least they shouldn't because that'd be weird.
And
How
no
would you
one
know?
knows what gender you are either unless they ask you. So how is that any different?
It's not. That's why we just go to the bathroom and come back out.
And they
Anybody
do
that
know what sex you are because I mean they can tell by looking at you. I mean by looking at whoever.
are you sure?
I mean, if I
Then why?
saw you, I could. I'm not. There's definitely people out there that wouldn't be able to tell, but I would be able to.
Sure, but you can't tell every time. I know a lot of conservatives like to say we can always see it. You can't. Because if I sent my pictures, like my photo shoot pictures, just to the chat and nobody ever heard my voice, literally nobody would be able to tell. Otherwise, my inbox wouldn't be full of conservative men. And no, these aren't just kinksters. These are people that think I'm actually biologically female. I am under no delusion that I am. I'm not. I would, if you could, I have evidence that I'm not. But what I'm saying is, when I go to the bathroom, I'm silent in there because my voice doesn't sound feminine. I stay quiet. I go to the bathroom. I wash my hands and I leave. So nobody knows what my sex is. Nobody can find out because they would have to look in my pants. That would be a very strange thing to do. That's a predator. That is a
Well,
predator.
I agree there, but what do you think about like when you buy a plane ticket or you buy like a
Mhm.
train ticket somewhere and it'll say like I bought a ticket recently somewhere and it said gender on it, male or female. So what are you gonna select when it says male or female for the gender on a plane ticket or wherever?
Unfortunately, I always have to select female, even though that doesn't make any fucking sense. If they labeled it sex, that would be different. But they're shooting themselves in the foot and calling themselves dead by labeling it gender and then using male and female as the options. I just pick female because how are they going to prove otherwise? How?
Well,
How would
what
they do
about
that?
your passport? The passport has whatever your birth certificate says on it. It can't
Yeah, I
have
don't.
an X anymore or trans anything on it. And your
Yeah, I don't
plane
have a
ticket has
passport.
to match your passport. So your passport's gonna match whatever your birth certificate says. So you would have
Yeah,
to pick
again.
male if your birth certificate says male, if your passport says male. You'd have to choose male because if you try to get on that plane ticket and it says woman and they see your ID or your license or your passport, then they're gonna say, well, this doesn't match. We're not gonna let you board the plane. So what would you do
Yeah,
in
I don't
that
have a
scenario?
passport.
Some trans people have ID that matches their gender. Some people have ID that matches some. Like I know a trans person that comes on my show sometimes, and they have the birth certificate from California because California is one of those weird states. If you were born there, you can change your sex on it, even though you
That's
agree it's
weird to
not
you.
possible. Huh?
That's
Well,
weird.
you agree that you can't change your sex, right?
Yeah, but
So then, isn't it
that's like
weird that they're changing their sex on their birth certificate? It doesn't say
it's
gender; it
different.
says sex.
It sure is different. Yes. Different, absolutely. I will concede that. However,
Well, I
I
would
don't.
say weird is could be anything that's considered different from the norm.
I will concede that. I will concede that. I
Conservative
just think
men
weird
don't
with the
like
negative
trans
connotation.
women. They
That
just
was
like dick. Okay, whatever, Chris. We ain't gonna play that whole game. We're not gonna play that whole game. But there's
yeah. It
gays on
sounds like
every side of the tracks.
it sounds like you're. It sounds like bro is into some shit. And if you are, that's perfectly fine. We don't kink
he,
shame
he's a
around here.
he's a he's a uh, he's a Democrat man that likes to explore his sexuality a little bit. But I don't think that's
Clearly.
appropriate.
Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate here, but I totally understand the curiosity. If you want to DM me and we can talk about that, that's perfectly fine. But like right now is not the forum for it, is all.
So back to that scenario. What would you do in that scenario where I mean, like I said, I don't know what your ID says or your birth certificate, but what would you do in that scenario?
Yeah, I don't have a passport. I wouldn't know. I've
But
never
if
had a
you did get a
passport.
passport and it said mail on it, and you knew
Mhm.
your plane ticket had to match it, would you match it? Or I mean, you said it made no sense that they
Yeah,
didn't
no,
have another
no,
option
I
on
didn't say
there.
it didn't make any sense. Well, okay, so the law that it has to do that, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't make any sense. I actually think it's nefarious and insidious, specifically with malintent. I do. But in that scenario, I would get my birth certificate changed before ever applying for a passport.
Well, I don't know if that'd be possible in your state, but I'm not going to argue that point. This is from a woman, Tracy in the chat. She says, "Will the guest admit men pretending to be women is dangerous for a woman?"
No, no, I won't, because a man that wants to do harm to women does not need to go through the extra step of pretending to be a woman. He's just going to do harm.
Well,
That
what
would
if
be
I told
extra
you?
fucking.
Well, how would you explain a scenario like this? Say someone that I knew lived somewhere and their mother got stabbed in the middle of the night, and then the dude comes back wearing a full-blown dress saying that he's a cross dresser. Would you say that could be an example of a man pretending to be a woman that would be dangerous?
That just sounds like a nigga that stabbed somebody.
Well, you don't think
That's
there's weird
exactly
people
what
that
that
do
sounds like.
weird shit?
Yeah, people do weird shit like stabbing people. That has nothing to do with cross dressing.
You don't think there's
It doesn't.
cross dressers that have committed crimes?
No, of course there are. Yeah, people are criminals sometimes. It doesn't have to do with cross dressing. Cross dressing didn't contribute to their crime. They just did the crime because they're a criminal.
Here's another question. What about a locker room at the gym or a swimming pool? If they were to change clothes in one, do you think it's right that you're showing your male genitalia to women and girls that don't want to see it? Specifically, since you said you didn't get any transgender surgeries or anything like that? What would you do in that
I
scenario? That's a really good question, I will say. I wasn't even
okay.
thinking about that
Sure.
one.
Yeah, no problem. I would not show my genitals to strangers. It's a pretty simple fix. Don't
So you
expose my
wouldn't go
genitals.
to so you wouldn't go to a gym locker room, or you wouldn't go to a swimming pool with a public locker room, or even some spas you have to get undressed around other people.
I don't have to. There are stalls. There are bathroom stalls with doors. I can go in there.
Well, yeah, but that would still be in a male or women place.
Yeah, and I'm stepping away from everyone because I don't want anyone to see me naked.
Okay, I'll take that for an answer.
Okay, cool.
Um, let's see. But what do you? But why? But my question: why do you think that? Like, what about the women? What about the majority of women? Like, a lot of elite. We can just go ahead and break it up like this:
Go
fifty
ahead.
percent of women are conservative. 50% of women are more liberal, more left leaning. Uh,
Sure.
that's pretty much a fair enough split. Do you think it's fair that half of the women in the bathroom, have a maybe they don't want anyone that's was born a man in their space, and they're living in fear. Like, do you think that's fair to them, or would you like to see like a trans bathroom or a unisex bathroom, or would you go into a bathroom if there was a trans woman's bathroom, or would you refuse to because you say that you're a real woman, so you need to go into a real woman's bathroom? I'm just asking the same question I've asked another trans guest of mine,
Hmm.
so I'm curious.
That sounds like they're scared of men.
Yeah, they're scared of men. Just like you
That's
go
a
into women's
problem.
bathrooms, right? Because you're scared of men. Is that why you use women's spaces?
No, that's not. I'm not scared of anybody, first off, but the women that don't want men in their spaces are scared of men because
Yes,
men are dangerous.
yes,
That has nothing to do with
and
trans women. That is
and
not a
these
trans
same
woman
people,
problem.
yeah, but these same people believe that sex and gender are the same thing. So can you understand from their perspective why they believe that you're a man? Because that's what
Oh, yeah,
science
yeah,
told them their whole
absolutely.
life. They were growing up in the 60s and 70s and the 80s, and science told them that gender and sex were the same thing. They
Hmm.
learned that going to school all their life. So now
Yeah,
they
they
see
do.
someone like you in their bathroom and they're a little bit more on the curious side. They're like, what the fuck is happening?
Right. No, I get it. Of course I do. Are they right? No. We can prove that they're not right. But that doesn't take away their feelings. Their feelings are valid, of course. But that's not a trans women thing. That's a men thing. That's a men's problem. Men should kind of fucking fix that. That is not my fucking issue.
One of the ways that we can, one of the ways that we can fix that, in my opinion, is separating people out more. I think bathrooms were based on sex, and I'm not going to pull up any articles or anything like that, but I think everyone agrees that bathroom would be based on sex. If bathroom was based on gender, like you claim, then why wouldn't we have a bunch of different gendered bathrooms? You've said there's always been more and more different genders, right? These didn't just come out of nowhere. So when we
Mhm,
established our bathrooms in America, then why didn't
mhm.
we create more gender spots for more people if it's not based on sex?
It is based on sex, and and they conflated sex with gender. This was a whole indoctrination operation, dude. Like they specifically boiled it down to two genders way the fuck back when as a means of control. Come on, don't tell me you didn't know that. Because native tribes, the people that were already here, right? The people who got their land stolen from them had significantly more genders. And if we're going to tie in Israel and conflate that, if we were,
Don't tell me you're gonna tell me the Talmud has six genders or eight genders.
so you knew.
I know a lot about Judaism. There's a lot of Jewish people in my Discord. I can correct that claim because I've studied some of the Talmud and I speak with Orthodox Jews on a daily basis. And as far as the Talmud goes, there is two genders that in Judaism, and the Talmud teaches that there are six abnormalities. Abnormalities. So
Slow
they
down,
teach
slow
that
down,
there's
slow down.
two genders, but there's six abnormalities. So
Do
no,
you
the
mean
Talmud in
six
Judaism does not
variations?
teach more than two genders.
Do you mean six variations?
Yeah, six variations of
There you go.
genetic
That's different from an
abnormalities.
abnormality. That's different from an abnormality. A variation just occurs sometimes. An
Well, it
abnormality
doesn't
is something
doesn't
that's
change the
wrong.
fact that they believe there's two genders.
I feel like it does.
It doesn't.
Okay. So
And as
you're
far as Native Americans having more than two genders, I've never had that. Native Americans more than two genders, and we didn't really have to tear down any constructs they had of. It said before European contact, many native tribes recognized more than two genders. They did not view gender as strictly binary. Okay, I'll go ahead and concede that. But these people were honoring people's genders based on things like spiritual leaders and healers. They weren't like trans woman stuff like that. They called them the
yes,
two
they were.
spirited male, the two
Yeah,
spirited female, and
right.
they had five basic genders. It said
Okay.
male,
So I was right.
female, two spirited male, two spirited
Yeah,
female, and
yeah.
transgender. But what is a two spirited male? What's a two
I
spirited
don't fucking
male?
know. I'm not native. I don't know. Well, I am native, but I'm not very versed in my Mantiponi heritage. I'm not. I just found out, as a matter of fact. So I need to look more of that up. But I did know that they existed. Yeah, they were revered
Okay,
as
so
healer.
take America off the subject. Then what about every other country in the world that has male and female bathrooms? Do you think they did some kind of indoctrination where they try to separate gender and sex from each other?
I do believe it was of European influence. I absolutely do.
Okay, what about Asia? They do it too.
Same. My answer stays the same.
Your answer stays the same all the way around the board. So you think that? So to sum up the argument, you do or you don't think that bathrooms are based on sex?
I believe they are said to be based on sex. So you know what? Yes, yes, I do. Yes.
If you think they're based on sex and you think that you're a male at birth, then why go into the female's bathroom? Especially you said you're not even scared of going into the male's bathroom. Is it
Okay.
just based on
So
principle or what is it for you?
it's based on the easiest possible thing. Like if I can go in and get the fewest amount of stairs, just pee, wash my hands and leave, that's where I'm gonna go. Because what are you gonna think if you as a man see a tall black woman with double D's walk up to the urinal next to you? Are you gonna have a look on your fucking face? Isn't that gonna
Nah,
be
I'm
a
not
little
even gonna look over. If I see someone walk up to the urinal, I don't even want to look over. What if their junk is hanging out? I don't want to see nothing.
imagine that. You don't look at the person that's in the bathroom with you? That doesn't freak you out?
I'm 6'5". I'm a big guy. I don't know. I don't really have to look over my back like that.
So someone of another gender walking into your bathroom doesn't scare you? What if they harm you?
Because men aren't scared of women. Women are scared of men. Is that not true?
No, it's not.
Who does most of the crimes against who? Are men doing most of the sexual crimes against women, or are women doing most of the sexual crimes against men?
You're working yourself into a hole. I will
No,
give
I'm just
you.
asking you. Who does more of the
Yes,
crimes? Men do most of the crimes, correct?
men perform more violent crimes per capita. Yes,
Women,
absolutely.
men or women?
Men
I'm not even. Yeah, of
men
course.
commit
Okay.
more of the violent crimes per capita. Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm talking about sex, and you crime statistics are based on sex, and I can show you an article that says
I'm,
trans
I'm,
women have the same
agreeing with
crime
you, dog.
statistics as men.
I'm agreeing with you. We're saying the same thing.
But do you
That's not
agree that trans women have the same crime statistics as men? Because according to
no,
studies, they do. You
no.
don't. So
Okay,
you don't.
nope,
Huh?
nope. No, I don't believe that. Pull one up.
Okay, I can pull one up right now. But do you think so? You think if you magically decide to be trans, now you're not going to have the same crime rates as a trans person or as a man? I mean, even though your sex is still
Magically,
a man, and they're basing these crime rates off sex. Because when you go to
magically,
jail and they book you on sex. They don't book you based on your gender. They book you based on sex in prison and jail.
magically deciding to be trans is not a thing.
Well, okay, I didn't mean it like I didn't say magically, but when you
Try
became
saying
trans,
what you mean.
when you huh?
I said, try
Sorry.
saying what you mean instead. Slow
Okay.
it down, give yourself some thought, and go
When you
ahead.
transitioned,
Hmm.
I don't even remember what the question is. I'm seeing a lot of people in chats. Okay, so someone says not when you pull out your penis and start peeing in the urinal. Like, why would I look over then? Why would I have any questions about that?
But it'd be weird, right? Like
Not
I'm the
really. I
wrong
mean,
gender,
I wouldn't even look over. I wouldn't even think about it.
but you saw me come in, and you know I'm in there.
Okay, so why would I care? You have a penis. You're peeing right next to me.
Why would any woman care what I have when I'm in the stall?
Because women get raped at higher rates in the bathroom than men.
I'm in the stall peeing. Nobody can see me. Why
Okay,
would you care?
women get raped at higher rates by people with penises. We don't even have to say
Okay,
men versus women. Women get
I
raped
agree.
at higher rates with people versus penises.
You just
I mean,
corrected
like
yourself. I didn't say shit.
I
So
said, we don't have to even put gender on it. We don't have to put
right,
gender. We don't have to put sex on it. All we'll say is penis.
okay, sure. You gonna you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just
Because
saying.
I didn't say nothing. So you wouldn't freak out because you're not scared of women because men are scarier.
Why would men be scared of women in their bathroom? Like, you think a 5'3" woman is gonna come up to me and just take me down with one chop, one blow to the face?
You don't want to ask me that.
No.
But
The answer is no.
okay, all right. So women are scared of men is what this boils down to. It has nothing to do with trans women.
Oh, it
Women
actually
are
does.
scared of
Because
men. That is what we
most
can agree
trans
on so
women.
far. Like, that's
Oh,
exactly what we've agreed on. You've made the point. I've made the point. We
I
have
just said
agreed
I
on it. Women
disagreed.
are scared of men. I've allowed you to
I
steadily
will
build a
concede and I
tower
will
of
agree
bullshit.
with you if we're talking about the sex, male.
Mm,
If you're talking about sex, male, if you're talking about natural born sex, yeah, natural born male based on sex are bigger threats to women.
why is that? Why do you think
Uh,
that is?
Why do I think that is? Because I think you're multiple factors. First off, everyone's born with a certain type of brain. I mean, there's arguments and studies out there that trans people have a different brain than both male or female. It probably is somewhat true,
It's definitely
but they do have the same crime statistics as men do, and I do think
oh
they
yeah,
have
I was
more.
waiting for you to pull that up.
They
Yep.
have a man's brain, but it's chemically changed or it's chemically altered over time
Yeah, that's not a man's brain,
in
man.
most of these cases.
Yeah, that's not a
Because
man's brain, man.
if you're not adding hormones, you're not adding any chemicals. Your brain isn't just going to magically change. But so what if you get a look and it's not your choice to invade? Well, this guy says. So what if you get a look and it's not your choice to invade a woman's space? That's what he says in the comment section.
All right.
I'll read a couple comments now. These people arguing you can change are delusional. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's see. Yo, I have a question for both of you. Would you join the Imperium man or the Hortus hearsay? I don't know what kind of question this is, so I'm not going to be able to answer you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
The horse hearsay, I guess. I'll just give you a random answer.
I'm not giving you no answer.
Now that we have more people in here, we have 400 people in here. Do you want to shout out your social medias again so we can give it a
Yeah,
boost?
absolutely. Thank you so much for that opportunity. My TikTok is at magic.dakota. That is magic.dakota. I am a magician. I'm a performing magician. I do travel. So if you want to book me, that'd be awesome. I'm also a metal vocalist and a battle rapper. So if you go to Google, I got a burp that won't come up. If you go to Google and you type in my stage name, Dracnus Shock, that's two names, first name, last. Dracnus is spelled Draccnus. Last name Shock, like that. Excuse me. Shock, like lightning. You can look up my music. I have music streaming on all platforms. It is metal, so if you don't like metal and screaming, then don't look it up, obviously. But that's that. And then my Insta is also Dracnus Shock. It's just put together. There's no space. DRACCNUS Shock, all one word. If you like battle rap, I am the first mainstream black trans battle rapper. Additionally, magician, and I use that shit on stage. Any others that I wanna? Nope.
Could I
Oh, also,
also ask you
the Magic of the Court. You want to look that up?
without giving any profanity or saying the N word or saying this or that, could you give us a battle? Could you give us a little bit of a battle rap?
Let me just put some
If you're
bars.
up for it, if you're up for it.
Okay. Y'all should have known better than to let Shock talk. I go off like a nuke. He goes off like a pop rock. Start the stopwatch. I'm ready to make heart stop, and I'm not pouring beers in glasses when I say I'm booting up the shock top. Power on. Switch to holographic. Activating madness and havoc while my madam packs up the ratchet. That's all I'm gonna do for now.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty good. That's pretty
Thank you.
good. Y'all still saying let's hear some freestyle. That was a freestyle. Oh, we got some fire in chat. If you thought that was fire, put the fire in chat.
Flames in the chat, bro.
I seen a couple flames in chat.
Hell yeah. Sounds masculine. I do sound masculine. I sound very masculine. I can sound even more masculine, as a matter of fact. My voice is deeper than this. This is just my speaking voice. No
Have you
seven
ever
bass.
rapped in a deeper voice?
I
Because
don't
it
really know.
sounds like it'd be a lot more difficult.
Say again.
If you rapped in your deeper voice, I think it'd be a lot more difficult.
I've done it before. Like I've dropped it in the round. I didn't do the whole round like that, but I dropped it in there and it shocks people. I've done it twice at least. Yeah. Once against a woman, once against a man.
They said they respect the bars.
Oh, thank you. That was my first battle ever. That was the opening quote from my first battle of all time. I've only been battling for, what is it, 2026? 3 years now. I was brand new. Like most people nowadays, they start on the internet because everybody has access to it. It's very easy to get a plate. You can just get on there, type whatever. You have as much time as you need. Even if it's an audio battle, you're just reading your fucking script. Oh, sorry. You're just reading
They're
your
good.
your rap. Um, so it's not that difficult. I was thrown in the ring, like the physical, actual, I was live with a crowd and an opponent in my face. I had to memorize 3 rounds of 3 minutes each. That's 9 minutes of material straight that I had to not only memorize, but deliver with a certain cadence. And like, there's a crowd control aspect to it. You don't just say things and people think it's hard. No, you have to say it a certain way. You have to say it with a certain timing. There's a lot of different aspects that go into it, and they all have names. I can name like six of them off top. So
Would
that's
you
what's up.
say the majority of back to the whole topic at hand? Do you think?
Go on.
Would you say that people that are natural born men by sex, males, do you think that they're born with, on average, more physical strength than women based on
I would say that
sex?
I would say that's a myth.
Do you think that's a myth?
However, strength, yes. Higher bone density, absolutely. That we know. Higher muscle mass on average, yes. Strength, mm-mm.
What about grip strength? I mean, that's a form of strength. That's something we can obviously measure.
That is a thing we can measure. Um, I don't know enough to make a call on that.
I mean, I can look up male versus women grip strength. I mean, I think the man has like a 30-pound difference in his grip strength.
Okay, look it up.
Male versus female grip strength. And what about the fact that most women just their stature isn't big enough to get to the kind of muscle density that a man has? Like a woman average height is 5'2" or 5'3" versus a man that's 5'8", 5'9" on average. The
I
physical
believe
size would allow their bone density and their muscle mass to be physically superior to a woman's.
I believe average female height is 5'5", average male height is 5'7". So on average, men are taller. However, I'm I'm a, I'm a I'm a big bitch. So I know dudes that I dwarf, and it's not just one or two. Um, does that have to do with my male genetics? Maybe, but I don't know enough to make a call on the whole thing because there are several women that can bench press me, and they're shorter.
Well, I'm sure outliers don't break the rule. I mean, there's women that are stronger than me too, but on average, women are not stronger than me. Here's a study right here that I found from. Hold on. Let me pull
Go
up
on.
the study. This is from Fitness Toolset. They study. This is a Fitness Toolset website. They study people's bench, how much they bench, and how much they
Right.
lift, and they found in this research article that men typically produce 40 to 60% more strength than a woman in the upper body lifts like bench pressing, and about 20% to 30% more in lower body lifts like squats and deadlifts.
Okay.
The average man can bench press 135 to 185 pounds, which is 125% of the body weight of a woman. Or no, it's a 50 to 125% of their body weight. Uh, and a woman bench press a lot less. So if you cut it off and lose all pressure, obviously, yeah. What are you talking about? Don't know what you mean by that.
A lot of people want to know what's in my pants, like real, real bad.
Well, we already kind of made that clear. Dudley
I thought so.
benches macaroni cheese into his mouth. I mean, he's proud of that too. Oh yeah, join the Discord community if we have any other people that want to come in and possibly be on the show or just
Yeah,
debate
please
or
do.
whatever. Join the community
I'll
down
take
below
my
and
brother.
also get those likes up and
Run
subscribe.
them up.
Reread it, Graham. It's a simple question. Okay, yeah, I'm not the best. So if you cut it off, you lose all pressure? Question mark?
He meant pleasure.
Pleasure. Sorry. Fuck. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Pleasure.
I mean, obviously, if you sever your nerve endings, shit's gonna feel different. Yeah. I don't even think that was a real question. You just wanted to hear me say it.
They said that they like you better than some of my previous transgender guests.
Well, I'm glad I take that as a compliment, I guess.
Join the Discord. Yeah, join the Discord.
Aren't trans females the most victimized people? Uh yes, the statistic is yes. The most physically victimized are black trans women in the United States. Yeah, so I
What
lead the house
about
there.
Muslim Sudan, or what about Christian Sudanese people where 500,000 women and children starved in the last 2 or 3 years? Those aren't the most victimized people in the world?
And where does that happen? Sudan, you
In
said?
the Middle East. In the
Right. You
Middle
remember when
East.
I said Remember when I said the United
You
States
said
just
in
now?
America, in the United
Yeah,
States. So you think the United
right.
States. So you don't think anyone
In the
else that's
United
more
States,
victimized. What
in
about
the
women that
United,
are constantly abused and raped in far higher numbers than trans people?
yeah, this is by percentage.
Even by a percentage, they're far more likely to get raped than a trans woman. Or show me the statistics.
That
Why would if someone could have a real woman, why wouldn't they just have a real woman? Especially if they're gonna do an awful fucking action like that.
because that crime is not a crime of sex, it's a crime of power. You know that.
I'm just gonna pull up Gemini because that's just gonna give me the best sources.
Oh shit. Yeah, absolutely. Fucking AI.
I mean, hey, people hate on AI, but AI gives sources, doesn't it?
Let's see it. You know what? I'm not even gonna look anything up. You look it up.
Trans women versus real women. Let's see.
Don't call them
Let's see
real
what they
women, call
tell
them
me.
cis women.
Cis
Gemini will know
women.
what you're talking about. No, no, no. Tell the computer so that the computer knows what you're talking about because it doesn't know what real women versus trans women means.
Well, I will say that there are some articles that favor your argument. But I would also make the claim that trans women are probably more likely to report violence against them because they want to speak out against, the atrocities in their community.
Because it happens a lot. Yeah, I leave the house with a weapon every single day. I
Well,
never know
so do
when a
I. I'm a man.
okay, all right, but I have to. I have to.
I have to too because there's multiple people that want to hurt me and my family.
Why the fuck do people want to hurt you? Who have you been wronging? What have you been doing to people?
I don't know. I just come on here and talk about my opinions and my beliefs, and that's enough reason for someone to want to kill you alone.
Okay, so is the government putting out legislation against anyone of your type? I don't mean just white, I don't mean just male. I mean anyone of your type, any category that you belong to. Are they putting
As
out
they before,
legislation?
yes, yes,
Have they before? Okay, okay.
yes.
I don't know what you mean. You know what? Just let me know what you mean. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know what you're
I
talking
can
about.
say multiple things. I can just go on a huge list. First off, they put out multiple things against Italian people and Irish people. I'm Italian, so that's
Yeah,
one
you're right.
thing. Second off,
Gotcha.
they put DEI, which disproportionately helps white women more than white men, and it helps white women, and then it helps black
Calm
women,
down.
and then it helps
That's
black
it.
men.
I just asked for like two examples. That's two.
Okay, I
That's
gave you
fine.
two. Yeah.
Gotcha. Are they doing that now?
Yes,
Because okay. Educate me.
they're still advocating for DEI practices on a state by state or a local by local basis.
Okay. Do you know what DEI stands for?
Diversity, diversity. Well, let me see. Diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Okay. What part of that helps anybody over you?
Well, I'm just telling you what the statistics show. If you want me to pull up the article, I can. But they show that it
Talk about putting
statistically
up
helps
freaking
people that are
articles
not
and not
white, that are
a
not
single.
straight, and that are not men more than anyone else.
Okay. What do you think diversity means? Like diverse from
People that
what?
are probably not white. I
Okay.
mean, it means something difference to everyone else.
No, no, no. Because straight white male is the norm. So if anything is other than that, that would be diverse, would it not? That means
Okay, so
you're
then
the
you're
baseline.
admitting that these hiring practices are encouraging you to not hire white men. So then, therefore, you're
No,
agreeing that they are violating the Civil Rights Act.
that is not what that means. That's not what that means at all. Diversity, equity, and inclusion means that these people aren't pushed away because of those things. That doesn't mean they're hired over. That means they're also considered. That means you just have extra competition. That's all that means.
You mean people are prioritized above us? Well, I have some data for you. Long
Again,
running data complied in the McKinsey and Company, Landon.org, Women in the
compiled.
Workplace. Reports consistently point out this gap. For instance, while women overall have gained in corporate leadership, white women hold roughly 90% of all C-suite positions. And this is due to DEI practices. This is part of the
Uh,
reason for them
how
gaining more and more positions recently, huh?
does the article say that it's due to DEI practices?
Yeah, here, I'll send it to you if you want.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to log
This
into
is from
Discord.
Forbes. This is directly from Forbes, by the way.
Okay,
This is
but
an
I'm wondering
entire
what
Forbes article about how white men are disprivileged due to DEI practices and who
this
benefits directly
privilege.
from it.
Oh my fucking god! He said the quiet part out loud. Holy shit. Okay, no,
Well,
let's get into it.
disprivileged. Not only white men are disprivileged from this, also black women and also black men are disprivileged from this because it puts white women on a pedestal and it puts everyone else below them. And I don't
White
think
women
you
have
want
always
that
been on a
either,
pedestal.
do you? Huh?
Dog, white women have always been on a pedestal.
And
They
this
have been
DEI confirms it even more.
okay.
Confirms
All
it
right.
even more.
So hear me out. Hear me out. If the white guys have always been in power, and we can prove that, we get into it. No details are necessary. We just know that, right?
Yeah.
So if the white guys have always been in power, who do the white guys listen to?
Nobody? The other white guys?
The white women. They have vaginas. They want the, you know, they got the
Okay.
power over you, dog. So of course they're going to be most of the
Okay,
things.
black women have the same body part as white women, and plenty of white dudes like black women. So what's your
Yes,
point?
let me get to it. Hold on. So, that being the case, if plenty of white guys with the power like black women, who needs to be subjugated the most? Black women. Who has the most degrees per capita in America? Black women.
Well, that's because black women have a higher rate of acceptance in the college, even though they have lower test scores,
Lower
and
test
that's due to
scores.
DEI practices.
Bet money. Pull that up. Lower test
I mean,
scores.
they
I
have
want to see.
lower test scores than people and Asian people on average.
Right.
Obviously, there's plenty of black women that are intelligent that
No,
score way above everyone else. I'm not even going to deny
yeah.
that, but on
Sure. Yeah. Hold
average,
on.
yes.
Yeah. On average. Yeah.
Sure,
Let
I
me
can
see that.
pull that up. I mean, you want
Please
me to
do.
compare Asian test scores versus black women test scores? That's not really
No.
going to be.
I
I
don't.
don't want to make
I
anyone
don't.
look bad here.
Not what I. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
What
Just
do
the
you,
one.
what do you want me to show? White test scores versus black woman test scores?
Yes.
Okay, sure. We'll look at SAT test scores.
Let's do SATs then.
Let's see. Let's see. There's so many articles, so this might take me a second.
No, yeah, take your time.
If
Meanwhile,
you
you guys
guys
want to see
have
a
any
magic trick?
questions for us in the chat, just drop some super chats. We're here to listen to it. Okay,
Yeah,
here we
we're
go. I
totally
have it right from pbs.org, which is
sure.
literally funded by our taxpayer dollars.
I know
It
what
says
PBS
the
is.
average black student scores between 70 to 80% of what a white student the same age scores.
Okay. I asked about black women specifically.
Well, this is both genders, but okay. Or both sexes, whatever you want to say. I mean, we don't even have to say black woman because black men are also, I believe, also having higher acceptance rates in the college.
Okay. We're talking about black women specifically.
Okay, here, let me see if I can see an exact thing that talks about women. But get those likes up. We got 600 people in here. If you want to give us another magic trick, I mean, they'd be
Yeah,
interested
sure.
in it for sure.
Totally. So the way I have people pick cards virtually, obviously I can't fan the deck and have you pick one. So what I do is I spread the deck out like this, and Graham, I'm gonna run my finger back and forth like this. I just need you to say stop at any time.
Okay, stop.
Right there, cool. We're gonna
Yeah.
take whatever card that is, and once I get it out of the deck, I'm gonna close my eyes. That's the one. It is just one card. We're gonna cut it into the. This is difficult trying to control it with my eyes closed.
But
Cut
you
it
just flipped it
one.
around. We seen you flip it around. You got to start
Yeah,
over
with
again.
my
We
eyes closed.
seen it.
Fuck it. Okay, I won't flip it this time. All right, tell me when.
Now,
Right
now.
there. Cool. We're gonna take this one out. My eyes are closed. You can see that. I'm not flipping the card around. My eyes are also not open to the screen, so I can't see that either. You understand this? My eyes are still closed while I'm cutting the deck. The deck is cut. Surely this is not your card. I'm not even doing the trick for you anymore. I just need you to confirm that's not it.
That's not it.
That's not okay, cool. You can get back to whatever you were doing.
Okay,
The
well,
rest of the illusion.
I have the article right now. I'll go ahead and show you on screen so you know I'm not bullshitting. Data
No,
tracked by the College Board consistently shows that white men have higher on average on the SAT compared to black women. And this is from
mm,
the Brookings Institution.
okay.
Yet they have a higher acceptance rate into university colleges.
Okay. Now there is
That's due to
motivation behind
DEI
it.
practices.
Okay. I will concede the test scores because I can't refute the study, right? I have to concede the test scores. However, the DEI practices, that has little to nothing to do with actual race. It has more motivation to do with money, and you know that.
Okay,
It
so
has
who do
nothing
you
to do
think
with
the
them trying to save
DEI
it.
benefits then? I'm just curious because it has to benefit someone, right?
Yes. Yes, it does. Hold on, let me find the card. Because you
Okay,
remember
you're
what it
good.
was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Damn. I think it got turned around in here somewhere. What was the card?
I'm not telling you.
I would very much like for you to tell me with one card stuck between my fingers.
I think it's King.
King?
King of Hearts. King of Hearts, I
What?
believe.
Do you remember what the card was? Because you don't sound very sure.
I'm pretty sure it's a King of Hearts. But Chad, if anyone can remember it, let me know. Let me know if I'm tripping, if I'm wrong. Jack of Clubs, someone says. So I'm gonna have to go with that. Jack of Clubs. Yeah,
It
everyone
was
was
King
saying
of
it was
Clubs.
Jack of
That,
Clubs.
that is the card that I pulled out. But anyway, back to the topic at hand.
So who do you think DEI helps then? If it doesn't help black woman, it doesn't help white woman. You think it
It
helps
benefits
white men then?
I think it benefits everyone because DEI does not exclude anyone. It doesn't
But you
exclude
just said diversity means having something different from a white man, right?
diversity means anything different from a white man. It does not mean favoring anything over a white man. It
But
means
to
these
get
other people
DEI
are
money, you have to hire someone because you get I believe it's a tax deduction at the end of the year. You have to hire someone that qualifies as DEI. So that qualifying ability to give large corporations tax deductions all because they hire a person that's not a white straight man. You don't think that would harm? I'm not saying that we need some big fucking help up because of. I'm not saying we need a help up at all. All I'm saying is, can
I
we
get
play
you.
in
I get
a
you.
fair, level playing field with everybody?
I get you. That is what DEI was meant to provide, a fair level playing field, including everybody instead of excluding the people that were disenfranchised. That was the meaning of DEI. It's meaning to put everybody else into the pool rather than keeping them out and giving everyone that's already in a step up.
I mean, I'm cool with that idea, but the main thing
Yeah.
I'm against is giving someone money because they didn't hire, like giving someone a chunk of money because you hired black or brown instead of white. I think that's
Yeah.
immoral.
I agree that that can lead to extreme corruption, particularly in the name of trying to be progressive or anything. So the higher acceptance rates with the colleges, I don't think that's always fair. Absolutely not. No, there's plenty of people in major Ivy League schools that just plain don't deserve to be there based on some inclusion tax break or funding or scholarship money that they would receive if they let this person in. That I think is immoral.
Good evening, Burnyo. Also, what do you think about the fact that, I'm not trying to say that it's violating the Civil Rights Act or it's being racist or anything like that. But what do you think about how it's very hard I mean, most white people don't apply for these types of universities, but it's very difficult for a white man to join an HBCU. And it's obvious for obvious reasons. This is a black university. and not many
Mhm.
white people join it. But at the same time, like imagine if we had an all white university and it was very hard for black people to join. Then y'all would be saying for a reason because we have a racial history in this country as well. I'm not going to deny that. But you would be saying it was because of a racial discriminatory thing. If we had an all Jewish university where no one could join unless you were Jewish or you were this or that, then they would scream civil rights violation.
That's how colleges started off. We changed it.
Yeah, and that was wrong. But now they're
Right.
still bringing it back there.
No, they're not. I went to an HBCU myself, and there were a few white students on campus. Not a million, of course not. Like you just said, y'all generally don't apply to those. Understandably so. There's a certain culture that comes with it. Sure. If you don't want to, then don't. That's cool. Y'all not excluded though. You're not excluded. You
Fair
can
enough.
still
I
do it.
can't even argue that because I mean, as if there's one white guy there, they can always say, "Oh, you're not excluded."
I mean, it's
On
true.
it's true. On average, white women score higher than black women. This is a super chat question. On
Yeah, I saw
average,
that.
white
I
women
saw that.
score higher than black women on standard tests. For example, on the SAT, black test takers score around 904 combined, while white test takers average 1077. Yeah, that's quite a big difference, but
That is a
also,
big difference.
we got Asian
Look,
people that score higher than all of us, so on
mine was
average.
15.
So,
My score was 15-17. So
well, that's
I'm not even.
fantastic.
Thank you. That wasn't necessarily for clout. That was like I I can't really relate, but statistics are statistics, and I can't argue those because I'm not asking everybody what the fuck they scored. Whoever asked people, I just got to take their word for it. What else we got?
Stop moral high grounding with gender attacks. You aren't special. I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
an
sure
interesting
who that
comment.
was meant to attack. If you could explain, we like one of us will respond. I'm sure. Who said that? I
Ask what
saw the comment,
bathroom they use. We already been over what bathroom. The woman's
and I'm not a
bathroom.
him. I'm a her. My pronouns are she, her. Thank you, though. I use the
If you're
bathroom
gonna
for
keep
her.
spamming, I'm gonna kick you out. Like spamming is
Yeah, don't
annoying.
spam, bro.
Please don't
Don't
do that
spam.
again.
I'm smarter than anyone here. Just ask me. Okay. Are you smarter than anyone here? That's what you
Well,
said,
I
right?
guess I guess they really, really, really want to go back into the topic again. So, have you ever had any problems when you went to the woman's bathroom?
Never, not once. I go in, I shut up, I use the bathroom, wash my hands, and get out. I've never had any problems. Apparently, I'm passing. Like when I keep my mouth shut, until I speak, I pass. That's why I get followed on the streets by strange dudes. This has happened more than once. I've had guys pull their cars over for me. I it happens. I get it. Like women's struggles are women's struggles. And I'm fully willing to take those on to be who I am. If I say I'm a woman in every sense. Obviously I don't have a period or anything, but socially, yes, I
Well,
accept all
that's
women's
the only
struggles and
other thing. I mean,
fight against it.
there's a billion other things we could say too. Uterus. I
Yeah,
mean,
that that has to do with
pelvic
appearance. Oh my gosh.
structure.
Okay, so why did you say that? Why did you say that?
Well, I just wanted to point out it's more than one thing. I mean, what makes a trans woman a trans woman? Just them saying
The
that
fact-
they're a trans woman, or is there an identifier that we should know about?
well, it's the idea that I identify as a woman. What I'm saying is for me and every trans woman I know, all the struggles that women take on socially, we are also willing to take on. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna freak out because I get followed by a guy because like what the fuck? I get why he's following me. That's a fucking problem. And I don't like that. So I'm gonna fight that guy. Like
But you can't take
he's
on the
being a creep.
struggles of period cramps or, giving birth or the struggles of, menopause or whatever. Those are only women's struggles. You'll never experience those. There's nothing you can do to experience those kinds of struggles.
Again, I never said that I would. Not ever would I be under any delusion that I can. You brought that up twice now. I'm very confused now at this point. Like, what?
What are you confused about? What did I say that confused you?
I'm confused as to why you keep saying it. You said it twice, and I'm like, I
What did I
began by saying
say?
you brought up a uterus, and I wasn't talking about a uterus. You
Well,
brought
yeah, you
up
said you didn't have a period,
pelvis,
and I wanted to point out that's not the only thing that you're missing.
but I was still right when I said it, right?
Yeah, you don't have it. You're right on that. But what do you think about trans people that are non-passing? Should they use their bathrooms assigned at birth? If I said I'm a trans woman, I know I don't like look like the most masculine man. I'm clean shaved, but like 6'5" guy,
Mhm.
obviously a man walks into a woman's bathroom, not even attempting to try to look passing, not even attempting to try to act like I'm transgender. Just say
Mhm.
that, I don't want to use the men's bathroom. It smells like shit in there. I want to use the woman's bathroom. It looks a little bit
Right.
cleaner today. Even though
Okay.
a lot of times I will say it can be
Yeah.
reversed.
It could
Uh,
get pretty bad.
but but would you be okay with that, or do they have to like be passing?
I think that depends on that person's personal safety. Like, if you were to walk into a full women's bathroom, you looking like you, even if you identify as a trans woman, do you not think that in today's social climate you would get fucking jumped? That
Oh,
has to
in
do with
seconds.
your personal safety.
I don't even think I would make it anywhere close to the stall.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So that has to do with your personal safety. You go where you feel the safest. I don't
So what if I
necessarily
feel the
feel
safest? What if I told you I changed my mind tomorrow and I feel safer in a woman's bathroom? These women look nice. I think I feel safer around them. I'll go
if you
into their
feel
bathroom.
safe. If you feel safe, then there's not a whole lot anybody can do to enforce you not going in there. Now, if you go in there to harm somebody, that's on you again. That's your fault. If you go in there to use the bathroom, the worst that can happen is people are uncomfortable. If they attack you because they're scared, there's a bunch of arguments to be made there. But again, that has to do with your personal safety.
Here's another super chat question. They said, if we women accept you in our private spaces, we have to accept every man.
Okay. What about the criminals? Do you accept them?
Well, you
Because
have
you
to
should.
accept everyone, right?
Not the fucking criminals.
Well,
They're
how do I
bad
know if it's
people.
a criminal record or not? What are we going to do? Do a criminal background check before you enter the bathroom? That's a
Are you
lot
gonna check
longer
my
than just checking your gender. I can
Are
check
they
your
gonna
gender
check
a
under
lot
my
faster
skirt
than I can
before I
check
enter
the
the bathroom?
background. Yeah, huh?
What did you just say?
I can check your gender a lot faster than I can check your background. Let me see your driver's license.
I gotta pull out ID to go to the bathroom now.
I mean, there's some places where you have to. It depends, like, it could be like, I don't know. I can't think of any place off the top of my head, but if you're like,
Right. So why would you
I don't
even
know.
bring that up in the first place? So
But
yeah, don't do
there's
that.
definitely places out there where they do have ID.
Yeah, precisely why I'm never visiting Texas. I'm never going to Texas. I'm also not going to Kansas now. But what I'm saying is, you're
What
not
about
gonna check.
Florida? They
I'm not
ban
going back
trans.
there either. Fuck that. No, I'm not. I'm not going to.
What if
No,
all
I'm not
state?
coming
What if
there.
all states say that you have to go into your bathroom based on your natural born sex?
Then I suppose I would kind of have to do that. But they also can't enforce it without lifting my skirt. That's a violation. They can't prove anything.
Well, they can ask
They
you for
either
ID, and if your ID doesn't match, they can ask you to leave nicely.
My ID does match. Now what?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but if it matches, then I don't know.
No, it does match. Because do you
Well,
know the process for getting your ID to match your gender at the MVA?
I don't know what it's like in Baltimore. I've never been there.
Okay.
I don't know if it's liberal or Republican, or like I think it's more Democrat leaning, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, all you have to do is check a box. The person behind the counter doesn't even look. You just check a box.
What are
That's
the
it.
options? Is it just male or woman, or is it?
Yeah, it's just M and F.
Does it say sex or gender on your driver's license? Because I think mine
Gender.
says sex.
Mine says gender, I believe. Where is it?
Really?
It's all the way across the room. I'm not going over there to
Yeah, I
get
have
that.
my wallet
I
right in
believe
front
it
of me.
says
I'm
gender.
trying to look to see. Actually, a few of my ID cards fell out, but I have another ID right in front of me. I mean, this one's from a different country, but it says gender, sex, male.
Okay. The The process is just checking a box. Like they're asking you.
Okay,
You make
what
that
if your
choice.
driver's license said sex on it though? Would you pick male or woman, male or female?
I'd
Because you
I'd
believe
still
that
pick
there's two
F.
sexes,
Yes, I would still pick F.
even though that you know you're a male, your sex is male.
Yes, it's a lot less confusing for whatever cop pulls me over for whatever fucking reason. Yes,
So
I would
you'd lie
absolutely do
about
it.
your sex then, in your own words, because you would believe that you're lying then on your ID.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder if I don't know if lying on your ID is a crime or not, but that would be
As
who
far as that
knows.
goes, nope. They shot themselves in the foot. They only gave
Breaks
me
out and
2 months
fight,
one
and
medical.
then they sue, and then they do a discovery. Yeah,
What
what do you
happened?
think about that? I
I
think
didn't
I
hear.
think Tom Pepin is trying to make up a scenario. He's like, what if you get in a fight with somebody or whatever, and then they
Mhm.
do like a breakdown, or they do a court discovery. Then they're gonna find out no matter what.
Oh, I don't get in fights. I end problems. That person's
Can
not
you?
gonna need to sue me.
Good point. Good point. Can you change your age too and your race? What do you think about the biracial people, or
Okay.
the the people that say they're racially fluid?
Right. That technically that is a legal matter because your race is decided by the state, not your genetics. Because if I was whiter than you, but my genetics are black, am I still black? My
Well,
race is a
I
state
would say
decided
that
issue.
you would be a I don't know what your ancestry is, but I would say you are a white African American. You would no longer be black. You'd still be whatever your ancestry is. I don't know your ancestry, so I don't want to assume that you're
Uh,
African. But
no,
you know,
I am black. I am black, but if I looked whiter than you, like if my skin was whiter, if I physically was whiter, I'm still black according to the state. So yeah, that's
I would
transracial.
say that
The
you're
legal.
white. I would say unless you're albino, then you just be albino.
Yeah, then I would be albino. But no, like white is associated with certain nationalities and ethnicities. That is a state decided issue. That has nothing to do with an identity. That is an external identifier, not an internal one like gender.
Someone said
Somebody
lying
else
on
is
your
telling me that.
license is a crime.
Okay, sue me, report me. Fuck it.
Someone says
My
they were
legal
born a
name,
white
my legal
female,
name is
but now
fucking
they're a
black.
black man. What do you think about that?
I'm sorry, what was the first half?
They said they were born a white man, but now they're a black woman.
Okay.
That's how they identify, or that's how they did their transition.
I mean, I'll call you whatever name you want, but that, like I said, that's a your race is a state decided issue. You
But your
didn't choose
state
that.
decided that you were a man at birth. You weren't able to choose your sex at birth. You even agreed to that. So sex is something that the state gives you.
At birth, the state called me a man.
They called you a male,
There we go.
a boy.
Yes, yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's not what my
Okay,
gender is,
so
though.
what's the difference between that and skin color, race, whatever you want to refer to it as?
Okay,
They were
okay.
both
So
given by the state at birth, correct?
yes, yes, my gender was assigned at birth. Well, no, my sex was assigned at birth. Now I fucked up. My sex was assigned at birth. Yes, it was. My gender can't be decided by anyone but me. These are two different things. We've been over this.
No, I'm following you. I'm following you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to. So you don't believe people can be. We'll end this topic now. You don't think people can change their race at all? Then
No, that's not, it's not decided by you. Like, okay, we remember Rachel Dolezal, right?
was that the chick that was trying to say that she was like black or Native American or whatever?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And then it came out that she was lying. How would she be lying if that's not a thing that can be lied about? Like,
Well, there's
if
been
I say,
famous people. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Sorry.
say, if I say I'm a woman, no one can prove that I'm lying because there's no truth to go against. Gender and sex are not the same. We have many studies on this, by a major university, right? So like I wouldn't be lying
Yes,
if
but
I
they
said
could say your sex is a man, right?
they could say my sex is male, absolutely, and I wouldn't disagree with that.
Here's another super chat comment. That is bullshit. DNA doesn't change forever as a man. As I am female, you are very selfish and disrespectful for your own cause. You don't respect us.
Okay, I'm assuming us is women. Um, and what that sounds like to me is you're scared. You're scared that I'm trying to replace you. No, sweetheart, you're not being replaced. You're gaining allies. If you would stop being terrified of us, you'd actually make a lot of friends. I hear from most of my female friends. I have yet to hear one say not say this. They feel so much safer around us than they do men. So much safer. I have heard these exact words many times. So if you're scared of me, then don't come around me. I don't have
I
a
don't
problem with
think
that.
any woman. I've never heard a. I mean, how are you? The statement you made about replacing real women. How would you ever replace a real woman? Because a lot of men want to procreate, and you'll never be able to produce a baby for them. So I don't see how trans women could replace real
I don't
women.
I don't either, but it's apparently a fear a lot of them have. They think we're attempting to replace them. We're fucking not. We're trying to eat snacks and go pee sometimes. That's all we want to do. But apparently, there's this huge agenda that we're trying to take over everything that they have, including their identities, their spaces, their struggles. Like we're trying to steal that from them. We're not trying to steal anything. We want to be who we are, which happens to be in that community. So why, pray the fuck tell, would we go over there and start trouble? No, we just want to live. And they want to kick us out. Like we're like, okay, no. No, we don't want trouble. We just want to breathe. So I don't know where that replacement theory comes from, but but I will tell you that there's a reason for the trans tab on certain websites, and they're hit up a lot. A lot.
I'm glad I don't know what website you're talking about. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it doesn't
uh,
matter.
someone says I'm an ATM because I give out money. Can that be a gender?
Why are you giving out money? Can you give me some, please?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, talk that shit, Playboy.
They said I identify as an ATM because I give out money.
Okay, cool. I mean,
If y'all have any
like,
other questions, drop some super chat questions or comments. We even got a little bit more people than we did before. So if you want to give out one more shout out to your social medias, I'm sure some of them will show
yeah,
you
good
love and
idea, good idea.
follow.
You guys, I am on TikTok. I am a magician. I make thought piece content. As a matter of fact, I'm just trying to get people to think again. I have a whole content series on this. So that TikTok is magic.dakota. Again, that is AGI period DAKOTA. That's my TikTok. It's my fastest growing platform. I'm also on Instagram at Dracnus Shock. That's my music stage name. I will spell that for you and listen very closely because Dracnus is not a real word. Draccnus, shock, like lightning, all put together. Dracnus Shock. I performed a concert last night under that name, of course. And oh my God, it was exhausting. But I got through it. And they were all original songs. Oh, yeah, if you Google Dracnus Shock, two separate words, Dracnus Shock, you will find my music streaming on all platforms. I'm a metal artist and a battle rapper. So go ahead and look that up if you're into either one of those.
Do you can you do some like do you do like the metal screeching and whatnot?
Yes.
I'm not. I can't even lie. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Thank you. It
cool.
took me a long
I'll,
time to get
I'll
that
give
down.
you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. When did ATM become a gender? I guess just now, right? Or has it?
But
It's
somebody
always
tried to
existed.
trivialize my struggle as transgender. Yeah, but I guess if they feel like they have to think a little bit harder to get my name or pronouns right. Apparently, any fucking thing is on the table. People can identify as dog. They always go straight to dog. I don't know why are people thinking about dogs so goddamn much. So yeah, apparently. If they have to do any other thinking, then it's just like everything goes. It's total straw man. Um, they can
They're
identify
all
as
spamming. They're all
was that?
spamming possessed by. They're all spamming in the comments. That was a demon possessed by a demon.
I can do a lot of cool different things with my voice. Like if someone gives me like a voice actor role, I can do Russian. I can also when I work in haunted house, I was working haunted house. I play like a ghost, and I was pulling like actual Spanish speaker with my voice. They say, "Where are you from, mommy?" And I said, "Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. I'm from right up the street." She said, "No, where is you really from?" And I said, "I'm catching the train home. I live in Baltimore. I'm from there. I'm not actually Mexican." Yeah, I was like actually fooling people with like different shit I could do with my voice.
I think this is your friend here, Joni X Earl. I think. Oh my God! Hey Dakota.
Oh, hi. Who I didn't see the name, so I'm not sure who it is, but hello. I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you so much. I've been preparing for this for like 4 days.
Someone says I've heard a two-spirited penguin. What does two-spirited mean? I still don't know.
Two spirited, at its most basic, my understanding anyway, is essentially like literally two souls in one body. It sounds a lot like what we understand nowadays to be DID, but it's not. It's not that. It's okay. So my understand, and this is completely like not factual. This is not me debating. This is me giving you my understanding. I understand men and women to speak two different languages, which is why you always hear things like women are so hard to understand, or why doesn't he just get it? Because y'all are speaking two different languages, you have two completely different life struggles, two different socio-economic norms. Speaking two different languages, you're both saying things that are equally valid, but neither one gets it. Two spirited people can speak both of those languages. That's my understanding.
I don't even have anything to say to that. I guess I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
I was just giving you my information.
Oh yeah, what do you think about the whole transgender military thing? Because I mean, if you were gonna serve in the military, I would let you serve in the military. But I mean, like people that are on hormones, that are on like estrogen or whatever, that can make them weaker, and it can any kind of new medication you take or any kind of new drugs you take, you can have an adverse reaction to that. So someone taking even if someone that needs like estrogen or testosterone just to be like themselves, like say someone that's actually deficient, I don't think those people should be in the military either. So what do you think about the whole trans military thing?
I think it doesn't boil down to trends. I think it comes down to someone's medical history. And it's not like you would be starting on any kind of hormones just before joining or while you're serving. That's not going to happen because they're going to need to know before you join what your medical history is like. I was almost a Marine, actually. I wanted to be a Marine sniper. That was my goal. But most of the way, I took the ASVAB and everything. Most of the way through the application process, they needed a bunch of medical records about my right knee. I tore my ACL 2 times as a teenager doing parkour, and they needed a lot of records. And I ended up just giving up. Like I stopped contacting the recruiter. I stopped caring. Um, but that is the kind of thing that they would need to know. So you would have had to been on hormones for a while, and you would know if you had an adverse reaction by that period. So I don't think trans comes into play with that specifically because like you said, some people are deficient, some people need those kind of supplements, and if they did have an adverse reaction or their bone density or muscle mass or anything about their body became weaker due to the medication, the military is just not going to take them. So I don't see why it's a trans ban. I don't know if it's a ban. I wouldn't call it a ban, but like if it's a restriction against transgender people because I'm transgender and I've never been on hormones, but I'm
Well, you
trans.
can technically go. All you'd have to say is that you're not trans, and they just let you in. Other than obviously your
Yeah,
your ACL and whatnot. But
of course, yeah. Like I could just do that. I could take all this shit off and just do that. I'm not going to because my identity is a big part of me. Like if I was to, for the rest of this conversation, refer to you as she and her and call you a woman, how would you feel about that?
I would feel like I know what kind of woman that you like. They're probably more masculine woman, I guess. I don't know. I don't really wouldn't really care.
No, I'm talking about you at like yourself, your identity. If I'm constantly discrediting your identity as a straight white male,
I don't need to prove anything because I'm already comfortable with who I am. So I have nothing to prove to you. I would never try to prove my identity to anyone else because I already know who I am as a person. So I don't have to
okay,
constantly tell people to use my right pronouns or say what I am or what I'm not. I already know who I am. So it doesn't really matter if you, what you call me.
okay, so you've also never had to go through the struggle of people constantly getting your pronouns wrong. You've never had to deal with that. You wouldn't know what that's like because everybody's
Sure, but
always calling you he.
I've had other, struggles. I don't know. I mean, what I
I
have
mean,
this
sure,
cut on my lip, and people constantly say herpes in the, or not a cut on my lip, but I have a shaving cut right here, and people are
yeah,
constantly saying herpes,
yeah,
herpes, herpes, herpes. That's a struggle. I don't care. That doesn't bother me because I know who I am as a person. So people
okay,
calling me names over and over again, it doesn't matter if it's 100,000 times for 20 plus years. I can handle it. I'm a
okay,
grown ass man, and I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I know who I am still. It doesn't
right,
change anything about me. It doesn't change who I am as a man.
okay. So where I was going with that,
I have thick
well,
skin. Go ahead, go ahead.
I have thick skin too. I'm a battle rapper. I get into insult fights for fun. But I'm talking about like in regular everyday life. Yeah, that's kind of a fucking struggle for me. Um, it does give me a good bit of dysphoria, and I don't like when it happens. I'm not the kind to throw into somebody's face. Like trans isn't my whole identity. Sure, it's part of it. Yeah, it's the outward presenting part. I do this to make it a lot less confusing. Plus, I look fucking beautiful. But also, it helps me to feel more like me. So I do this for me, not for everybody else. It is part of it though. So when I go to correct people, I'm not going to throw it in their face that they got it wrong. No, it's just, it's she. And then the conversation just keeps going. Some, I'm not going to lie. Oh, they make me so mad. Some trans people, particularly trans women, I've noticed it with trans women, will like almost bait people into misgendering them just to go off on them. I don't like that at all. That gives us a bad name. That is in bad faith. Like you're trying to make somebody get something wrong so that you can attack them. That's malicious. That's evil. I don't like that at all. If somebody slips up, that's no problem. That's not even a cognitive impairment. It's just a thing that happened. People slip up and say stupid stuff all the time. They'll mix up two regular words and it'll make some weird word. Yeah, slip ups occur. But tricking people into it, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
Well, what if you're meeting someone for the first time and in their opinion they see you as a man and they call you a him he and you know that they're like they're not doing it on accident but they're doing it because that's how they see you and it's their first time meeting them. Would you I mean how would you feel about that? I guess I'll just say.
Okay. So the first hit, I would correct them gently, just like I said. If they continue to do it after that, I no longer have to deal with that person. This is my first time meeting them. What the fuck am I losing? Nothing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The guest,
Mhm.
some people in the chats, I would like to address this because I know there's at least a dozen women in chat that probably feel the same way as this. They say the guest has never had to struggle with the actual struggles of being an actual woman. What do you have to say to all the women out there that are having that?
Name me some women's struggles that are not period or childbirth. I'll wait.
Menopause.
Okay, that's endocrine still. I do not have
You
a
didn't say
uterus.
endocrine. You said okay. Breast
What does
cancer.
endocrine mean?
Breast cancer.
Men can get breast cancer,
It's much more common with women.
but men can
Uterus
get it.
cancer,
I
ovary
don't have a
cancer.
uterus. Again, I also don't have ovaries which go with a uterus. What part of me not physically having a uterus is not catching on? I don't have one.
Well, it's not that it's not catching on. I think I know that you don't have a uterus, but you're just
Yeah.
asking me for struggles. So I named
Yeah,
you a
struggles.
couple.
Okay. So yeah, not having a uterus, what struggles don't I know? Because I know what it's like to be accosted on the street. I know what it's like to be
I know what it's like
harassed
to be
online.
accosted on the street too.
Boy, I was not talking to you. I'm talking to the people in the chat that were saying that I don't know women's struggles at all.
How is that a
Yeah, I
woman's
do.
struggle? I've been sexually harassed. I've been catcalled before. How is that a woman's struggle? Women have it happen a lot more to them, sure, but that's not just solely a woman's struggle.
Y'all heard him say it.
It's
Y'all heard him
not
say it.
solely a woman's struggle. Any attractive man out there knows that it's not solely a woman's struggle. And forget about attractive man. Any man that went to, some of these famous gay cities, San Francisco, the gay areas in New York City, if you know, you know, have been accosted before, have been catcalled by other men before. So
Mhm. Hey, man.
puberty, periods, childbirth. They just spammed the same thing again you said not to say, but
Cool, cool. No, that's perfectly fine. I
being
hear you, bro.
afraid of men overpowering them.
Okay. I'm not afraid of anyone overpowering me. Anyone, man or woman. That's a me thing, though. That's a me thing. I'm not afraid of anyone. That's just me. That has nothing to do with man or woman. I would say the same thing if I was a guy. I totally would. So what so when we say women's struggles, are we talking solely biologically female women's struggles? Because that's what it
I
sounds
mean,
like.
yes.
We're now boiling the entirety of an identity of a woman down to her genitals. So she's nothing but her genitals. You don't have
No,
a
that's what
brain. You don't have
transgender women, a
ambition.
lot of
You don't have
transgender women
thoughts.
believe.
You
Women
don't
are
have
more
needs.
than their
You don't have
genders. In fact,
aspirations.
it
You don't
boils
have
down
dreams.
to X,
You don't have
Y
things that
versus
you
XX.
desire. You don't have
Go ahead.
anything outside of what's in your pants as a woman. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not a woman. Being a woman is not about your sex organs. I've already said that because I started off by saying that it doesn't matter
Like,
if you
I'm
have a
listening to
uterus
you.
or ovaries because plenty of women lose their ovaries with ovarian cancer. So no, it's not about your sex organs. It's about X, Y, and XX. And if there's abnormalities, if you're a woman that has a different chromosomes, then that means you're an intersex. Men are more likely to be victims of overall violent crime and homicide. Yeah, that actually is true. Men are more likely to be victims of violent crime and homicide,
Yeah, by other
frequently
men.
at the hands of strangers or acquaintances.
Other
That's
men.
because, yeah, more men on men violence.
Yeah, that's a problem. Men
I
are the
agree.
problem. We've
Yes, I
established this like six
agree.
different times. Okay, all right. So
That's
again,
ex-
I was referring to the
I
chat to
wouldn't even
begin with.
say men are the problem. I'll say males are the problem. I don't think men are the problem. I think males are the problem because transgender men that say they're real men are not the problem because they're committing crimes at women's violence rates, at the crime statistics of women.
Okay, so are you saying that they're actual men?
No, I'm saying that the crime statistics show that they're committing crimes at the level of women because they were born as women. I would
And
like
the
to pull that
crime
article up as well in a second here.
is the fourth
But go
one.
ahead. What were you going to say?
I was gonna ask, at what rate are trans women committing the same violent crimes as men? Cis men, that is.
Mhm. Oh, here, I was going to pull up the article. Yeah, I was gonna pull up the article, but you're gonna have to give me a second. As a transgender woman, have you ever been told to keep sweet? What does that mean? Told to keep sweet.
I know exactly what that means.
Is it something
Of course I
weird
have.
or gross or
No,
sexual?
no, it's not. It's not any of that. Yes. The answer is yes.
Would you like to explain?
Yeah. Keep sweet basically means be docile and submissive. It's a latter an FLDS term coined by I believe Warren Jeff's father. I can't remember his name. Keep sweet, pray and
Yeah, I'm
obey.
not. I'm not even gonna try to keep up. I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm keeping up
I mean,
with
you
that
asked.
conversation. Yeah, no, I did ask. I was reading one of their questions. It seemed like something they
Oh,
wanted to
gotcha.
The most frequent cited academic research on this topic is a comprehensive population based on coherent study conducted in Sweden from 1973 to 2003, published by Celila, some Swiss last name, Sweden last name, sorry, and colleagues. It tracked 324 sex reassigned individuals who, over decades, compared their crime convictions against match controls of their biological sex and their reassignment. This is from the Murbury Blackburn um, and also from the UK Parliament committees as well. I'll send you these sources, but they say they commit violent crimes at the same rates. And this was a study that was done for literally like 30 to 40 years, comparing the crime statistics of people. These are not just transgender people, to clarify. These are people that had sex change operations. So they are transgenders, but they specifically had sex change operations, to just to clarify.
Okay. Now, did you understand any of what you just read?
Yeah,
Okay, explain it to me. Because
that
there was a big missing
trans
at the
women have the
beginning.
same crime rates as men.
No, that part at the beginning about it being comprehensive, etc. What was that?
You want me to just read the whole thing over again?
No.
Well, what part? Comprehensive population based on coherent studies?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Comprehensive or population?
That entire phrase that you just read, what does it mean?
It means that they're comparing the transgender population to the straight population.
That would be control. You know what? Never mind. I'm not getting anywhere with that
What
one.
does it say? What's your argument? Just point out what you think. Just say
I
where you
was
think I'm
legitimately
wrong.
asking you a question. I was asking you a question.
That's what it means to me. If there's some definitions of some things I'm missing, it says research on this topic is comprehensive. That means they did a lot of research. And then it goes on to say population matched based on cohort studies conducted in Sweden.
Okay.
I mean, I'll send you the article. Did any
That's
of
cool.
your friends manipulate you to transition in any way? And how do you feel on the trans community reaching out to the youth through cartoons?
Okay, so that's first off a loaded question, so I'll correct it. Second, it's a two-parter. So number one, no, nobody reached out and influenced me in any way. I actually had to build up the courage to come out to my friends. So that was entirely a me thing. Again, gender is an internal identifier. It is not external. Nobody can tell me who I am. I know who I am. So I had to tell them who I am. Nobody influenced me. Second, the trans community is not reaching out to the youth via cartoons. We're just adding ourselves because we're alive. We exist. They're going to know we exist when they come across us in life, period. Let's say, okay, you have a 5 year old. I'm 36 right now. In 30 years, your 5 year old will be 35. I'll be 65. I'm still going to be transgender. They're probably going to meet someone like me in
Sure,
life.
they will, but my 5-year-old isn't going to learn about sex through a transgender cartoon or relationships through a transgender cartoon.
Okay, then don't let them watch any Disney movies where people kiss.
I would not let them watch any Disney movies.
Okay,
Disney
let's
movies are
see it.
despicable.
I mean, I agree, but that's the kind of thing like heterosexual romantic interactions in cartoons never get an eye batted about them. But let a trans person exist in a classroom in a cartoon, just studying. It could be a college. Then there's a problem, right?
No, I agree. If there's a cartoon where characters are kissing and they're same sex couples, then I think that's wrong. But if it's just a cartoon of a straight couple, I mean, let's be honest here. Most people have a mom and a dad, and if they don't have a mom and a dad, then they don't know what it's like to have a mom and a mom in the relationship. So should we really be exposing them and opening them up to an idea at such a young age that other households have a strange kind of relationship going on there?
There's nothing strange about it. It's just not your norm. It's somebody else's norm. So what
Well,
about
that's
that
what
kid with the
strange
mom and the dad?
means, huh?
No, it's just not your norm. Neither is
It's
being
not
black.
norm
Is being black
statistically.
strange? No,
No, being black
it's
is statistically normal because 14% of the population of this country is black. Is
that's not
14% of
20.
this country is
That's not
14% of this
25.
country transgender? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
What is it?
Yeah, what I was saying was it's not your norm, but the kid who those two moms raise, it's their norm. Are they now supposed
Yes,
to
they're
feel
already
ashamed
exposed to it. They're already
and
exposed to it. That's what I'm saying.
and
They're
in
already
real life
exposed
they
to
have
it, so
to
they can live
shut
with that. But
themselves
the kid
off?
that isn't, go ahead, go ahead. I don't
They
want
have
to talk
to
over you. Go
they
ahead,
have to
finish.
thank you. I appreciate that. So are you saying that that kid now has to go out in public and shut that part of themselves off? Like they have to be ashamed and quiet about their home life because other kids don't have two moms? Like they have to shut up about it?
I have a counter question. Yes, they should shut up about it because if there is kids that are learning about sex when they're 4 or 5 years old, they shouldn't be sharing these sex stories with other 4 and 5 year olds.
Who
That's
said
the
anything
perfect
about sex?
example.
Who said anything about sex? They just have two
It's the
moms.
whole
That's their
thing
mom.
about sex.
No,
Every
no, no.
relation,
Okay, all right, cool. So then,
the
if the kid with
majority
two
of
moms,
relationships, there are relationships that are like, I don't know, 2% of the population probably has marriages where they don't do anything for, never done anything ever. Probably less than
well,
that. A
well,
very,
yeah, but
very, you know what I mean though.
I do know what you mean, and I find it a little odd because the kid with a mom and a dad isn't being exposed to sex, right?
Well, no kid should be exposed to sex, but that's my
I
point.
agree.
Things that
So
you
why
learn
would
that
the
are
kid,
inappropriate, just because another kid learns something earlier than another kid, doesn't mean he should come
right?
to school and share all this information with everyone. Do you
Yeah,
agree with
at no
that?
point was any. I do agree with that, and that's why I never brought it up in the first place. The kid with two moms isn't learning about sex; they just have two moms. It's that
Yeah, but
simple.
they should come to school talking about homosexuality around other kids because that's a place to learn, right?
They just have two moms. So you would also have an issue with the kid that has a mom and a dad talking about having a mom and a dad at school.
No, because that's a norm.
Oh, so that's biased. That's incredibly
It's
biased.
not biased.
That's
It's
incredibly
not
biased. It's
normal. It's against a lot of people's religious, spiritual, and political beliefs. Why would you share
that's all they care.
personal
That's all they
relationships about your family's sexual relations?
Then the kid with
And
the
a
mom and the
sexual
dad.
relation would be two lesbians married to each other. If you're telling me they don't have sex and it's not sexually related, I don't know what to tell you. That's normally not the case.
Okay, cool. So the kid with the mom and the dad should shut the fuck up too.
If he's talking about anyone banging anyone, well, I mean, why would a kid come to school and start talking about their mom and their dad? I mean, you're
You
there to
never talked about
learn.
your parents at school. You never
Not
met. You never
really.
had like a Mother's Day or Father's Day celebration at school. You never
I
had
mean,
that.
sure, there's Father's Day celebration, but should you come into school on Father's Day and say, yeah, both my dads are gay, they bang each other? Like, is that appropriate to share with other kids?
Why do you keep going back to that? Nobody's
Because
saying
that's what
this.
it always leads to. That's what it leads
You're
to.
thinking about it. It's just
No,
you.
that's what it leads to.
No,
What
it
do couples
doesn't.
do? Do couples bang each other or not?
So, okay, so couples bang
When
each
you're
other, right?
dating, huh?
I said, so couples bang each other, right? That happens. The kid with
Sure.
the mom and the dad, their parents bang each other. So why is it not automatically assumed that when that kid starts talking about their parents, it goes straight to their parents banging?
Well, I'll go ahead and concede part of the argument. If you want to talk about your LGBTQ parents at school, go talk about your gay parents, whatever you want. But as far as transgender cartoons go, no, still no. Because why are you promoting transgenderism? Why are you promoting
It's not.
sexualization to
It's
the
not
minor?
sexual. It's
It
not
is sexual.
sexual.
Sexual
No,
nature.
cis people keep making it sexual.
No,
I'm just.
homosexuality. Wait. When
Mhm,
you're a natural born man, right? So that means your sex is a man. So if homosexuality is referring to sex, that would
mhm.
mean a man with another man. That's homosexuality. It has the word sex in it. So two trans people,
Okay.
a
Mhm.
trans person, a trans woman dating a woman would be a technically speaking a same sex relationship because you said your sex is a man and the woman's sex is a woman. So that would be a same sex relationship. But for most of the cases, for a lot of the cases, not all of them, it's a man that's a trans woman that's into men. So that would be a homosexual case. So that would be it's all sexuality. They even used to call it transsexual. That was before they changed it to transgender. And so yes, it all has to do with sexuality. It literally has the word sexual in it. Transsexual, homosexual.
You know
I
what
mean,
else
it's
has sexual in
based
it?
about sexuality.
You know what else has sexual in it?
What?
Heterosexual.
Yes, it does. That's why there shouldn't be heterosexual cartoons where they're doing sex in cartoons. It should just be regular stuff.
So heterosexual people shouldn't exist in cartoons.
They shouldn't be kissing. They
I
shouldn't
agree
be
with
telling
that.
people that they can go out and get with other people if they want to. They shouldn't be promoting. getting into a relationship at a young age, even if it's a
I,
heterosexual relationship, and a lot of
I
these cartoons promote it. I can give you
mm,
a great one. What's the name of the one on Netflix right now? That's the
we're
blue
agreeing.
with the kid with
We're
the blue
saying the
hair.
same thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said we're saying the same thing. You don't have to give me an example. We're agreeing on that. We agree
Okay, so then we
wholeheartedly.
agree. No sexualization in cartoons, and the transgender
Hmm.
cartoons I've seen was saying you can
That's
be
not the
anyone you want, and you can go out
same.
there and get in, do get with it anyone you want.
Mhm.
So do you
No,
think
that's
that's the
sexual.
kind of thing that's okay? You don't think that's sexual,
That
saying
was
you can get with anyone you want? You
that
don't
was
think
two
there's any
different things.
sexual undertones? Let's just break it
No.
down to this. You don't
Okay.
think there's any sexual undertones to any of these transgender cartoons?
I mean, I don't know about transgender cartoons as a category. I don't really watch cartoons, but transgender representation, as in these people exist in the same world as you, that's not sexual at all. It's not. This person is alive. That's the message. This person also exists. That's it. It has nothing to do with sex. Cis people keep sexualizing it. Stop thinking about that person sexually. Like, knock it off.
They're not sexualizing it. They're sexualizing their children by telling them they can be anything they want to be. That's sexualizing children.
How?
Numbers are skewed upon arrest. Most trans are marked as their biological sex. Yeah, that's another thing with the crime statistics. Because
Okay.
most arrests are marked with their biological sex indicators. But there are
You
some
mentioned
articles.
earlier.
I do have an article out there. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying you mentioned that earlier. You did say
I
that.
don't think I mentioned that the numbers. Well, maybe I did mention that, but this guy dropped a super chat to say that. What was I gonna say? Shit, what was I gonna say? Yeah, as far as cartoons go, they're pushing the line a little bit there as far as sexualization. Okay, I can remember what I wanted to say now. So you don't think that it's possible to condition, like you mentioned before, that what was the word for it? Not conditioning, but grooming your children was wrong. You don't think that you don't think you can groom someone by showing them a lot of homosexuality? You don't think that would be a form of trying to groom a child by exposing them to a lot of homosexuality over and over and over and over and over 24/7 in their face, just homosexuality 24 fucking 7. You don't think that would maybe sway someone in a certain direction? Especially a younger
Are
kid
you
that's easily influenced.
are you asking if I think brainwashing is possible? Because
I'm
that's
asking
exactly
you
what you
if you
just said.
believe grooming is real. If you think people out there are showing the kids enough homosexuality, LGBTQ imagery over and over and over and over again and making it seem like a cool enough thing where maybe it's almost a trend.
Do I think people would do that? Of course, there are evil motherfuckers in the world. But I have a return ask. How much homosexual material would it take for somebody to show you to turn you gay?
Well, I'm already a fully developed man with an adult brain. I'm not a child with a child's brain.
That's not what I asked.
I
Brainwashing is possible for you. How
I
much
don't know. I've
homosexual
never been
material?
brainwashed before. I don't think it's possible.
I'm telling you it is. As a psychologist, it absolutely is. How much gay stuff would you have to watch to become gay?
Well, I don't think I have an answer for it. I'm very resilient against all forms of brainwashing.
I feel
The
like you're
children are
just
not.
straight. I feel like you're just straight, right?
No, I
Am I
think it'd
correct?
be possible if you took the right amount of drugs and you watched enough gay
Drugs.
stuff. I think it would
Okay.
absolutely be possible. Here,
No.
if you want to answer here, what would make me gay? I'll give you an answer. What would make me gay? If I started
Yes.
taking meth, if I started
Mhm,
watching a lot of gay porn, I started taking a
mhm,
lot of stimulants,
mhm.
taking a lot of stimulants like methamphetamines, probably taking some LSD, probably taking some shrooms. Those are known to make people very sexual, especially meth users. They're known to fuck anything moving. So if you're man,
Right.
female, trans, they don't give a fuck. They're so horny, they'll fuck anybody. So I
Sure.
would say enough meth and enough gay corn, anyone can be gay. There you
Right.
go.
Okay. So that would make you attracted to other men. I didn't say act on it. I didn't say be with. That would make you attracted to other men.
Well, if you're on drugs, then if you're on drugs and you crash your car, does that make you a bad driver? Or is it just because you're on drugs and you crashed a fucking car?
So then you wouldn't be gay, would you?
No, I wouldn't be gay, but that would be turned out.
No,
But
because
acting gay, fucking other dudes in the butt. Once you do it with another dude in the butt, you're gay for life. There's nothing
that's
that
not how that
changes
works.
that.
But
So,
I'll let you have that. So no,
so you
you
can do
wouldn't be.
gay things once, and all of a sudden you're straight. You're not gay again.
You're not. Okay, look, that's not what
But
gay
you
means.
did a gay
You
action. You had gay
nothing.
sex. That means you were gay in that moment. Yes.
No, that's not what that
So
means.
having gay
Because
sex doesn't even make you gay.
being attracted to somebody of the same sex, that makes you gay. If you like guys, that makes you gay.
So if you have gay
You could be,
sex and you don't like it, you're not gay. Is that what you're saying?
that is exactly what I'm saying. Yes. So nothing
Wow,
can make
that
you
is
like men.
crazy.
Nothing, nothing can make you like men. Right? You're straight.
I
You
just
nothing
told
can
you
make
if
you
I,
like.
if I started taking meth and watching gay porn every day, I can
Well,
pretty,
but
statistically speaking, people that use meth are
okay.
screwing anything left or right. So I would probably
Well,
think that would probably turn me gay.
no, you wouldn't like dudes though. You wouldn't. Sure, you
I
might. You
think
might
I
smell.
would because I would be so high on meth. Any hit of dopamine from getting my
Mhm.
nut or whatever would be
Right.
amazing because I'm on drugs.
Sure, but that doesn't mean you like guys. That means you want a nut. That's what that means. You don't like guys. Therefore, my point
Well, you're
was being
enjoying it.
straight.
You like it, right? Because you're on high on meth. So you're enjoying the gay activities. You're
Okay.
liking the guys
Well,
because you're high as fuck out of your mind, right?
well, that means that's not you, doesn't it? You're under the influence. That's not you.
How is that
That
not
means
me?
because you're under the influence. That's been your driving point the whole time. You're on a bunch of
Okay.
drugs and you've hypnotized
Yeah.
yourself. That's not you. Therefore, being straight is not a choice. Correct? You didn't choose to be straight. You just are.
Well, you can choose not to have gay sex. I don't think
Yes,
who
you
you're
can.
attracted to makes you gay because there's a difference
That's
between
exactly
saying
what
so
it
and so
means,
is a
bro.
no, but
That's
there's
what it
there's different
means.
types of attractiveness. There's sexual attractiveness and there's just thinking someone looks good, right? Is that
Yeah, I
true or
can
is that
recognize people
false?
looking. No, it's,
You can
you're
recognize
correct.
someone that looks you can recognize someone's attractive without
Hmm.
being, sexually attracted to them.
Sure. Yeah, I can recognize a good looking dude from anywhere. I like girls. I could tell, I could say a guy is hot. I still
So
like
what
girls.
so then what makes it so what makes you gay then? I would say it's the
Liking,
gay stuff that makes you gay.
it's liking guys. That is what that means. Being physically
Yeah, if you
attracted.
have gay sex, you like guys.
Oh my God. I'm gonna just let you have this one. No,
All
what?
right,
No,
all
that's
right.
the whole reason I'm on here. No, fuck that. I'm not letting you have this one. No, that's not what gay means. Gay means homosexual. You are
Same
attracted
sex
to.
attractiveness. Same
Correct.
sexual attractiveness.
That doesn't mean you can be a gay virgin for the rest of your life. You're still gay.
But you can see a beautiful woman and say, I'm not sexually attracted to her because of her history, but she's still beautiful, right? So you're choosing not to be sexually attracted to her because she's a hoe, correct?
No, argue my point.
I am arguing your point. I'm attracted to her, but I'm not sexually attracted to her because I know her history.
You're not. Whoa, what? What the fuck? Where did that come from? What are you talking about?
Uh, I'm just giving an example. You're saying that you can't control who you're sexually attracted to. If I
Correct.
find a woman attractive, but then
Hmm.
I learned something about her history, maybe she was a stripper, now I
I don't
don't
see
like her
that.
anymore. I'm no longer sexually attracted to her, correct?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with what we were talking about at all. Her history
It
has nothing
does
to.
though. It does because you said if you're you can't you told me you can't choose who you're sexually attracted to. I
Correct.
just told you I thought this stripper was hot until I found out she was a stripper and now I'm no longer sexually attracted to her. That was
I
a
mean, that's
decision I made.
okay, but do you still like women?
Yeah, sure. But
So
you
then
can do
you're
the
straight.
same with homosexuality.
No, you can't
Why not?
because it's also not a choice. You're straight because you're straight. Somebody's gay because they're gay. Like it's the same exact thing. You can't help it. You just are straight. You can't be. You couldn't be gay if you
So
tried.
you're I could be gay if I tried. I could go get
No, you
into a gay
couldn't.
relationship tomorrow, even if I
No,
didn't
the fuck you
like it.
couldn't.
I could lie to everyone and say I did like it.
Then you're not gay.
That would
You're
make you
lying.
gay.
You're lying.
How
And
would
you
you
said it
know? How would you
because you
know?
said it. You just said it. Because if you
But if
got
I
into a
didn't say, you would have never known. So straight men can become gay and gay men can become straight.
you can act gay. Sure, you can act like it. Are you? No, you're lying. Only you know that. That's why it's an internal identifier. Only you know. that wraps full circle back around to the beginning point where only I know who I am and I can tell everybody who that is, and no one can tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you can think that you're something, but how the world sees you also, adds a huge amount to who you are as a person.
Uh, no, it doesn't, because I could say that you're a woman, going back to the thing that I said earlier, but you said, I know who I am. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Damn, my battery dying like a motherfucker. Hold on.
This guy asked me a question. I'll go ahead and answer this. If you were most likely on a Molly at a rave, would you likely have an interesting experience, Graham? No, I don't take Molly and I don't go to raves. So even if I did, no. The answer would be no.
Correct. Graham is straight. He can't help that. He's just straight. He just is straight. Accept that. That is part of his
If
identity.
I took Molly, I would probably be afraid that there would be some homosexual activities taking place.
That sounds like you're afraid that
That's
you're gay, man.
I'm not afraid that I'm gay, but did you just not say that if someone takes meth and they do something gay that they're not really gay, it's just a drug?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so then why would I be afraid of it if I'm gay if this drug makes you gay?
It doesn't make you gay.
I'm not saying it does, but it makes you feel like you love everyone, that the world's at peace. It
Yeah,
has
sure.
euphoria effects that have been
Right.
known
It
to
does have
lead to
euphoria.
men sleeping with other men that are normally not gay, correct?
Sure. Yeah. But when they wake up off that drug, are they still gay? They did a gay
No,
phase
they were
first.
never gay. I agree
They
with
were
you.
never gay. They
But
can never
they're
be
gay now
gay.
because they had butt sex.
They're never gay. They did the thing, sure. But even if you have butt sex with a woman, does that make you gay? No.
That is kind
That's a
of gay.
woman. That, oh
I
my
won't
fucking
say
God.
you're gay, but I will say it's kind of gay. You're not
I
gay,
would
but
like
you're
you to
kind
defend
of
that.
gay.
I would like you to defend that premise, please.
That hole
What you
is a
said was the
man's.
other day?
That's a hole only a man has. That's the only that a man and a woman have that hole, but that's the hole that only a man has. But a woman also has, but it's the one hole that a man has. There you go. There, I defended it. Therefore, I think that's kind of gay.
Y'all just heard this man say all that, right? Y'all heard that.
It's
Like, I'm
probably
not
not
tripping.
actually. I'm not actually trying to seriously defend that or say it's gay, but that's just like
Okay. Okay, yeah, that was
my
just a very
thoughts.
silly thing to say. Okay. Um, so yes, being gay or straight, not a choice. All the straight people are straight because they're straight. Now, if they're lying to themselves and they're telling themselves they're straight because they're afraid to be gay in public, that cites two problems. Number one, the fact that they're not comfortable with themselves. Number two, the fact that they're not comfortable with themselves because they would have to live as the oppressed member of society, having come out and done that. That's also an issue. That's a whole separate issue. It's a whole separate topic. We don't have to get into that. But that would be the reason that they would lie to themselves and say they're straight. There are plenty of gay people that have lived in healthy marriage for decades at a time, lying
Sure, I
to
know some
everyone,
of them.
including
Sure,
themselves. Yeah, like it happens because they're scared.
but do you
However, they
think
were gay the entire time.
Yeah, but what about this? Do you think how your brain can change, your brain can grow, drugs can change your brain? What if you were never gay all your life and at 33 years old you take a Molly trip or you take mushrooms and then you wake up the next day and you feel like you're gay? Were you gay the whole time or did those drugs change your brain chemistry? Because we all
You
know
keep bringing
drugs
up
can
drugs.
change your brain chemistry, huh?
Yes, they can. I said, you keep bringing up drugs. Like, you introduce drugs into the whole thing, and then you keep
Well, I'm
going
just
back to it. I'm a little
curious.
confused. Let's see. Okay, so your brain chemistry can change. I've never heard of it as it refers to sexuality. Never.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on then. Let's see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, let's see.
Listen, drop some good questions or comments, drop some super chats, get us to 300 likes. We're almost there.
Yeah,
Hey,
guys,
I
we're looking
appreciate
forward to
that,
questions.
Andrew. Let's see. Get the likes way up there. Get the likes way up there. Let me know if y'all have any questions or comments.
Do I believe in God? Somebody asked. Yes, I do. I get this question in my TikTok every single live. The answer is yes.
Someone
There's
said
nothing
drugs
about
can
me
change
that.
anything and everything about someone. I agree. I think drugs can change anything and everything about someone. I mean, you've never heard someone say that they're gonna suck a D for a bag of weed, but you have heard people say they will suck a D for a bag of crack, and that's pretty gay. And I think that could probably turn somebody gay.
I've heard and seen both happen.
Well, to be fair, that was a poor example. I have heard
A
and
little bit,
seen both
yeah.
happen as well.
You want to try again?
Sure, I'll try again. Okay, there's people out. We'll take weed out of that example. We'll just say a bag of crack. Does that make it better? People will suck D for a bag
No,
of
it's just
crack. That
one
could
thing
make
that
them
happens.
gay.
Yeah, people will suck D for a lot of different things. Excuse me, a lot
And
of
people
different
that
things. It
are
doesn't even have to.
they're not were gay before, now they're a bag of sunshine. No, that's horrible. This person says you can present yourself however you want, but you'll always be the gender you were born as.
Okay, so you're not born with a gender. You are taught your gender. You're born with a sex. You are taught your gender. Stop spamming, guys. Don't do that.
Stop spamming. Don't ask any dumb questions because I mean I'm not gonna ask any questions that the answer's probably pretty fucking obvious.
I
Time on
know
my
you're
side
addicted
said
to
he was
drugs.
never taught his gender.
Uh, okay. I'm not going to argue with you because I don't know you and I don't know your history, but your gender is taught to you. Did you buy your own clothes when you were little? Were you taught that boys and girls are different when you were little?
So
These
you're
are
telling me that
teachings
parents
of
decide
gender.
the gender then?
Technically, yeah. That's why it sounds so stupid when people have babies and they call their baby they to other people and they say things like, we're gonna let them decide their own gender. Yeah, that sounds fucking weird, doesn't it? Because it's very abnormal. However, when you break the science down, like the psychology of it, yeah, kids are taught their genders. Would you ever buy your son a dress? The answer, knee jerk, no. Of course you're not going to do that. Why? Because you know that little girls wear dresses. That's what you are teaching a little girl. She wears the dress. The
Well,
little
you're
boy
taught your
does not
sex
wear
too,
it.
aren't you? You don't know your sex until your parents, call
Well,
you
no, you
what you
don't
are.
know about what it is. No, but your body is physically different from somebody else's. That's just a fact. You could look and see that. Even if nobody said anything to you about what a boy or girl was, you would just know by seeing that no matter how later on in life it was. If you were never told, you would know it was different upon sight. That's irrefutable. However, I got 25 dresses in my closet right now. Nobody can tell me that I can't wear them. Who gonna do that?
Well, you got something there. Tom on my side, he's a little bit of he's 53 years old, so he comes from a little bit of a different generation than me or you. But he says
Okay.
gender is masculine or feminine, tomboy or feminine, female. Sex is the male or female. Gender doesn't change your sex. Do you agree with that or no?
Correct.
Because he's saying that you would just be a feminine male, if I'm not mistaken.
I
But if
would
he wants to correct that, he can.
no no no. You're no. He's actually he's right. He's right for the most part. I think there might be a couple tweaks in there that like just very minor, almost semantic stuff. But no, he's right. Yeah, like gender is what you present as. If anything, I would call myself a male woman. Like that would be the closest raw descriptor. Yeah.
What would you say again? Sorry, I couldn't hear you with everything going on. How would you describe
Yeah, my
yourself?
bad. I said the most raw descriptor for me would be a male woman. That's like if I had to name every detail, male woman.
They changed the definition to be what it is now is a social construct. That's the same guy.
It always was. I mean, male and female, biological terms. We know what those are. Man and woman have changed over time. Like, okay, if you hear my voice and you see me in a skirt, isn't that going to be a little odd to you? But if I was to go to Scotland and wear me a kilt, would that be odd too? No.
I don't even care
And
about
going
all
back,
that. I don't care what you look like. If anyone came up to me with that voice, I'm running the other way at full speed.
That makes sense. That's survival instincts, lizard brain, amygdala type shit. But no, it's because if we go back far enough, just in the same country, yeah, the guys wore wigs and makeup. The guys wore high heels. This all changed over time, and we've seen it happen. We can
Well,
document all of it because Mhm.
to be fair, I don't think wearing a wig and makeup is feminine as long as you're like a politician or on television. And as far as wearing heels, yeah, heels were originally horseback riding shoes. So yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's what they were used for. That's why they were masculine because they were used to ride horses.
Right, but we've seen it change, right? Men no longer wear heels, even though they still ride horses. Men
I
no
mean that's
longer wear
because we have a
wigs,
better type of boot now. But yeah.
but either way, it doesn't happen. I mean, not on the whole.
But
That's
as
not
far
seen
as
as a
men
feminine
still
trait.
wearing makeup and wigs, I mean, they don't really wear wigs as much, but they still wear makeup.
What's a toupee?
I mean, yeah, that's a wig, sure, but I mean, so sure. I'll say men still wear makeup and wigs all the time, so I don't even know
Men still
like
get
how that's changed.
men still get gender affirming care as men.
Well, they didn't get. I mean,
Hair,
as far as I know, they didn't get gender affirming care back then in the 1800s.
uh, hold on. Yeah, not that I know of, but they get it now, and they don't think of it as gender affirming care, do they? Hair transplants, fucking Rogaine, uh,
I
steroids,
would
shit
say,
like
yeah,
that.
if you were to call that gender affirming care, I mean, I'm not even going to dispute that. I mean, but I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
how a hair
Mhm.
transplant would be gender affirming care because men and women both have hair.
Correct, but men and women also both have assholes, and apparently that's a little gay.
Well, it is a little bit gay.
There you go again.
It's a
All right,
little bit
so
gay. It's a little bit gay to go in a brown stinky place. That's a hole.
okay. Um, so yes, these are all examples of gender affirming care because when you think of gender affirming care for a trans woman, there's probably only two things you think of. What are they?
There's three
Two
things, or
procedures.
there's three things I
Mm,
think of.
okay, what are
Well,
they?
I'll tell you, I won't even say how many. We'll just break it down like this. Okay, top surgery, bottom
Mhm,
surgery, puberty
mhm.
blockers,
Okay,
HRT, TRT.
okay. So those last three, HRT is the umbrella for those. So I see what you're saying. It is three main things, but top surgery and bottom surgery is what comes to mind for just about everybody. There's a lot more that goes into it. Technically, the only gender affirming care I've ever had was about 2 months of voice therapy. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I said surgery. It's probably because we were talking about that a second ago. But no, that is not what my voice sounds like, and it's actually really hard to keep that up. Like I was just talked to for 2 months. That's the only gender affirming care that I've ever had, and it's only care because it was done by a hospital. Like somebody taught me how to talk like this a little bit, and I can't keep it up for longer than 30 seconds. But that's another example of gender affirming care, and it didn't even come with a procedure.
What about birth control? That's hormones. I mean, I don't think I said birth
Actually,
control,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that's another example of gender affirming care because a woman
I
that
would
takes
have to
birth
disagree.
control is taking hormones. She's on hormone therapy. That's
But what
endocrine.
about the woman that's getting hormone therapy because of her menopause or because she doesn't have the correct estrogen levels? I don't think that's gender reaffirming care.
That's gender affirming care, dog.
But no, male and female both get that.
Yes, that's still gender affirming care. You're affirming your gender. You're not switching, you're affirming. I feel like you
Well, okay, then if you want to say that, then you'd be gender mistreatment care to affirm a falsehood and medical harm going against the medical
I see
oath.
what you're doing there. I'll take the bait.
I'm just reading
Um,
a comment. I'm just reading a comment, honestly. I didn't even
oh,
come
okay.
up with
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought that was you talking. My fault. That's gender affirming care for menopausal women. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, sure. I'll concede that's gender affirming care. Fair
Okay.
point.
Thank
That's a fair point.
you. At the end of the day, what difference does gender really make? Unless you're seeing a doctor homophobic or looking to homophobic. What?
But to be
Okay.
gender reaffirming care, you'd have to be, reaffirming that you're, born a woman, right? I
No,
mean, if
no,
we're
gender.
reaffirming, if it's gender reaffirming, then it should be
Why do you keep saying
reaffirming what
reaffirm?
already is there, right? If it's
No.
reaffirming something, that means it's confirming something that's already existing, that's already there. So that means you don't need to go through the surgery to be a trans woman.
Okay, so stop saying reaffirming because that means something different. Gender affirming care means you have a gender that you want to express. You need care to affirm that what is, what you said
Okay, how
is.
can you affirm something that's you don't have a definition to say? So you're gonna affirm something that you feel. That's
Yes,
basically what you're saying.
yes. You feel like a man, right?
I don't feel like a man. I am a man.
Okay, but that's also like you feel that's right for you, correct?
What do you mean feel that's right for me? I I don't know what you mean by feel that's right. I wouldn't feel like anything's right because whatever God gave me is what I believe is correct because that's what I believe from a religious aspect. I don't
Right.
think we were
So,
created from nothing. I think we were created with a purpose in God's image. I don't think he made any
okay.
mistakes.
Okay, so no, no, I don't believe he made any mistakes either. Um, but things happen with people sometimes, and they're born different ways, right?
Sure, but there's no there's nothing that's going to there's nothing other than self-harm that is going to help you with with gender reaffirming care. Other than
Okay.
self-harm, which is literally you harming yourself. There's no medical condition that's going to kill you and that's going to eat you away. It's literally just your own thoughts and your own brain and what you do to yourself.
What do you
That's
mean
the only thing that it's
self-harm?
affirming.
Like, what's that's the
Well,
only thing that it's
I'm
gonna
saying
prevent? Like,
because
I'm
because a
curious.
lot of
I don't
people
get
no because a lot of people say they need gender reaffirming care because if they don't get it they're going to self-harm, but
hmm
that's not an actual medical illness that you're treating. That's just your own suicidal thoughts, your own suicidal ideation that you're fighting against. You're not fighting against a medical disease or illness other than maybe some
Okay.
diseases in the DSM-5 or some illnesses in the DSM-5 I should say
Yeah,
that
is
you
that not
may
medical?
have.
Is that not medical?
Uh, yeah, but you can't cure that. You're gonna have that for life. After you have your gender reaffirming care, you still have body dysmorphia because you believe that you're something that you're not,
Adjustment
or
disorder
gender
is in the
dysmorphia.
DSM-5 and doesn't last for more than 6 months. You're not
What
gonna
do you
have
mean it doesn't
everything for
last?
life. I said adjustment disorder is in the DSM-5 and it lasts for 6 months.
I'm
It
not
can't
familiar
last
with
longer than
that.
6 months. I know you're not. I'm a
What's
psychologist. I'm
that
teaching
mean?
you.
What does that mean?
Adjustment disorder is the dysphoria that comes with introduction to a new circumstance or like a life altering incident where you're really thrown off whack and your psyche's all fucked up and it doesn't last for more than 6 months. Uh, uh, else, it becomes diagnosed as something else that could be permanent. Not everything in the DSM is permanent. So you got to know what you're talking about before you cite those sources.
So you're an
So
actual licensed psychologist?
I went to college for this, yes. I'm not a
Okay.
therapist, like I'm not a licensed practicing. No, I'm not. I just know what I'm talking about. But going back to treating those suicidal ideations, yeah, would that not be medical? Especially if that person tells you this is what's wrong with me and this could fix it. How is that not medical?
How does it fix it if well, let me start with this. This is going to be a
Mhm.
long argument right here, but
All
so
right.
let's say this. Straight people have their own suicide rates, right? They have lower
Sure.
suicide rates than trans people. So
Okay.
once you transition into a transgender person, you are you're transitioning your identity from a straight person or a cis person, whatever you want to say, to a transgender person. So you are changing how you are calculated in a statistical manner. So you're now statistically speaking, you are accounted for in the trans community. So people statistically that become transgender have higher suicide rates than people that are not transgender. And this is even after they have gender reaffirming care. So if they never had this reaffirming care and they never identified with transgender, they would have the same unaliving rates as someone that never transitioned. If they would have dealt with their problems, or they would have just been like a regular cis man wearing a dress and said, "Hey, I'm just a guy that likes to wear dresses," or "I'm just a guy that likes to be feminine, I'm just a femboy," or whatever, 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 then they would have the same clinical suicide rates as a cis person rather than a transgender person. So how does gender reaffirming care help anyone if it's not lowering, even if you could find me an article that says a transgender person that had this care has a lower suicide rate now, well, they still have an overall higher suicide rate because they chose to go with the transgender ideology. And you can make the argument that this comes from societal pressures and that's what's causing this, but at the same time, you expressing yourself in such an open way, because I don't walk around, I'm not trying to criticize you particularly, I'm just making an open statement. I don't go around and I know it's not your identity either. You have a very big identity full of multiple factors. You're a very talented person, but for someone else, their whole identity, not everyone, but a lot of people, introduce themselves based on their sexuality or how they identify or whatever, 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 whatever. But I don't go up to people and start telling them that I'm a heterosexual white European man from blah 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 blah. I don't do that because I realize that if I did that, that might be a little bit, strange to a lot of people, and they might attack my identity. So that's another argument that you could make. But I'll go ahead and let you respond. I said a lot so far.
Yeah, I don't know what to respond to. What was your main premise?
How do you think gender affirming care helps them if after their care they still have a higher suicide rate if they would have never than if they would have never transitioned at all?
I think that's due to societal pressure because people don't believe them after they come out and they continue to drive home the point that they were born as a different sex than they seem to be presenting. I think it's entirely societal pressure.
I will agree with this Brandy Colbert comment. Obviously, I do think that gender affirming care is for people to, solidify their quote unquote identity or their new identity. I mean, what else would it be for? But at the same time, doesn't mean it doesn't have its criticisms. What do you think about the DSM-5 in general? Because that would kind of put your transgender people into a category which would diagnose them under mental illness, because it's the Diagnostic Mental Disorders Manual. That's literally what it's called. That's what the DSM-5 stands for. Diagnostic Manual of Mental Illness or something like that. I mean, I can look it up, but that's the gist of it. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
you should look things up before you start citing them.
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah,
basically what it means. What does it mean then? What does DSM-5 mean?
Diagnostic Standards Manual, Diagnostic and Statistic Manual. But
Of what?
um,
Of what?
of
I mean, we
of
can look it up.
mental illnesses and disorders,
Okay,
transgender
okay.
identity disorder is not in it. Gender
But gender
dysphoria disorder,
dysmorphia and body dysmorphia are.
yes, they are.
So what are you trying to say? Only some transgender people have a mental illness?
I'm trying to say that what you just said isn't true.
So you're telling me that not all transgender people have body dysmorphia?
The hell happened there?
I think it cuts out sometimes automatically. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
hold on.
Bad. Going back.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Can you
Let
hear
me
me?
turn my volume up. I can barely hear you. I'm
Okay,
not
hold
sure
on.
what happened
Rejoin.
there.
Rejoin. Get the likes way up there. If you guys have any questions, comments, drop some super chats. I hope they can rejoin in. I told them to rejoin in. So if we can get the likes up, but get the likes way up to 300. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever you want to talk about, drop some. Sorry
Uh,
about that.
no, yeah, you're good. Okay, so what I was saying was, yeah, transgender identity disorder is not in it at least anymore. It may have been at one point. I came online at like the DSM-4, so I was a little late to the party. But yeah, gender dysmorphia should be in there. Body dysmorphia absolutely is. Um, and these are things that can affect people who are cisgender.
But yeah, sure, it can absolutely, but it affects predominantly. Well, not predominantly, but it affects a high percentage of the transgender community. Correct?
Correct.
So a high percentage of the transgender community, then therefore, by that definition, has some form of mental illness.
Not necessarily. somebody can be trans and not have body dysmorphia. Somebody can be trans and
Well,
not have
obviously,
gender
I'm not
dysphoria.
saying all of them, but
Yeah,
a percentage of
a
them.
good amount. Yeah, it's a good amount.
Okay, so
But
a high percentage of the trans community has a mental illness.
I'm not going to say high percentage, but it's a good amount. It's significant. We don't know the percentage. Like you or me, we don't know the percentage, so we can't make a call on percentages. But it's enough to where, yeah, that's kind of a like it's not shocking that it happens. What did that say?
Maybe not body, but they will have gender dysmorphia.
It can happen. I heard one of you say you believe in God, but I was wondering if you both do. And if you do, could you explain your faith and why you believe and what you believe Jesus loves you? You know what? I'm gonna let you take that one. Go ahead.
I'm a Christian. I'm currently like a Protestant Christian, but to be honest with you, I'm thinking of changing into becoming converting into Orthodox Christianity. I'm consider converting from my Protestant beliefs into a Orthodox Christian, but the only reason I haven't is because it takes quite a bit of time, and there's a lot more knowledge to being an Orthodox Christian, in my opinion, to being a Protestant Christian. But that's my beliefs. Go ahead.
I'm a Mormon myself. I'm a follower of Jesus, and I don't believe exactly the same things that most Protestant Christians believe. Mormon is also considered Protestant because Protestant is like the root word of it is protest, which was a protest against the Catholic Church. I do have questions about Orthodox Christianity. I'm going to ask you that in a second. I believe that Jesus is the Christ and that love above all, be kind to each other are the greatest commandments. Oh
You
yeah.
can
So
ask
what
me
exactly
whatever
is
you want about Orthodox
yeah?
Christianity, but I'm not gonna pretend like I know a whole lot because I did grow up my entire life being a Protestant Christian. But I can, whatever question you want me to try to answer, I can give you my best answer to it,
Yeah.
or ask someone that knows
So
better. Go ahead.
yeah. So what sect of Christianity did you grow up in? Episcopalian, Baptist, Lutheran?
Lutheran. I would say I grew up, Lutheran.
Okay. So I've never heard of Orthodox Christianity. I've heard of Orthodox Judaism. I've even heard of Orthodox Greek, but I've never
Eastern
heard of Orthodox
Orthodox, yeah, it's the
Christianity.
same thing. There's two types of Orthodox: Greek Orthodox and
Okay.
Eastern Orthodox. I'm thinking
Okay.
of
Gotcha.
considering going into becoming an Orthodox Christian. And
Gotcha.
Christianity started with the Catholic and the Greek Orthodox Church, or whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it, East Orthodox or Greek Church. They were all one. All the Orthodox and all the Catholics were one church. That was the very first church. I believe it was created by Saint Paul, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it was Paul. Yeah, it was Paul. All right. That makes sense. Thank you for answering that.
This man has another question back to the transgender topic. You're dishonest. Twice you said you're a psychologist. Now you switched up. Your guest is arrogant and narcissistic man in a dress. He's disrespectful to you. I don't think he's disrespectful to me, or I don't think you're disrespectful to me at all. But
She.
yeah, I'm just reading the super chat. I'm not
Yeah,
trying
no,
to.
yeah, I know. I'm not offended. I'm not offended. This will be
Okay.
one of those gentle reminders. Yeah, I'm not like coming down on you. But okay. That wasn't really a question. It was a super chat. So I guess I appreciate the donation to Graham's cause.
But no, they're. I don't think you. What do they mean? You switched up on being a
I don't
psychiatrist,
know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. Like I'm not practicing. I went to
psychologist. Yeah.
college for it. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. But never have I claimed to be a licensed therapist, which is like the bottom. I just know what the fuck.
They want to know if you have a YouTube channel.
Oh yes, actually I do. It's at the Magic of Dakota. It's very easy to say, a little more difficult to spell out in the taskbar. The Magic of Dakota, all one word.
If someone wants to get their feelings out there and say what they want, I say let them say it, and we can
Yeah,
try to bite back at their criticisms. Because I don't think
yeah,
it's
please do. Like,
disrespectful at all, and I don't know why they would
if
think
anybody.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were answering that guy.
Yeah, no, I was kind of answering back to the comment
Yeah,
section a little bit more.
yeah. If anybody has anything, compelled speech brought people like I won't be a part of it. I'm not rude. I'm being scientifically accurate. I don't know what that means. I'm confused. Do you know what that means, Graham?
Like you stated before, time on my side's in my Discord. You can talk with him if you want yourself, but I imagine he would be fine identifying you as how you identified yourself earlier as a what'd you say? I don't want to misquote you. You said something about being a male, female,
Male, woman?
a male woman.
Yeah. Like my pronouns are still the same. She, her.
I don't
I'm a
know, man.
woman.
Well, Time, would
But
you quantify that, or would you say no? Because you said the difference between sex and gender. So I don't know if you'd
yeah,
quantify that or not.
that's a good question, actually, Graham. Yeah, that's a really good question. Was brought to power because of the extreme circumstances of Germany after. Oh, yeah, I don't know, Doug. I'm not sure. I was just as confused.
But compelled speech, like trying to like yelling at people saying, "Oh, you're misgendering me," or "Oh, blah 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 blah." You know,
I think it's just basic human respect and dignity. Like, okay, let's say I get my name legally changed, and I have. If you continue to call me by a name that is legally not mine, is that not like a little fucked up? Like I went through a lot to get this. Matter of fact, we do this. We do this regularly. We all do this. Because when women get married, what do they have to do? They
last
change their name.
yeah, last names are normally not gender related. They
No,
don't.
no, they're not.
Last
But it's
names
still
don't have pronouns. Like last names don't have pronouns. So like,
sure. No, they
I
don't.
don't know
They
what the
don't.
comparison is.
Okay, but she still changed her name, and everyone's calling her a different name. So if I change my name, can I not be called by that same name, by the name that I changed it to? We can agree on that, right? I'm going
Well,
somewhere with
that's an
this.
interesting argument. That's the first time I've heard this argument before.
Okay,
But they're not changing. You're changing your first name. They're not changing their first name, and
I changed my whole
you
name.
don't go around calling people by their last names unless they're like your employer. They're your like CEO or your boss.
Or they're in the cops, or they're in the military, or they're on like a construction site. It happens all the time. So that's just not true. But where I was going with this was if you can call me by a different name because it's respectful, because that's my name, that's part of my identity. What is stopping the pronouns? Like, am I forcing my name on you? You could call me by
I will say calling you your name is not a big deal or whatever. I mean, sure,
it
whatever you
is
want
a
to be
big fucking
called.
deal. It's kind of the whole
No,
thing.
I'm saying it's not a big deal to call you what you want to be called because that's your name or whatever. But
Well, yeah. So
I'm saying
mhm.
for the people that the gender thing, the pronoun thing is a million times more difficult because sure, I can remember that you want to be called Jen or you want to be whatever it is. I'm just giving random examples, but
Mhm.
I can remember that. But it's a little bit harder for people, especially I'm not saying you in particular, but for transgender people that they see a man when they say they're a woman and that like their eyes the way most people do pronouns is by what they see with their eyes.
Right. That's called cognitive dissonance. And that's perfectly understandable. That's what happens. And that is why I present the way I present, because this is not only what I want to look like, but it's a lot less confusing if you look at me and see a she, whether I'm talking or not. You're looking at me and you see a woman.
Well, cognitive dissonance isn't that when you can't see the truth or you can't see the facts, or what's the actual definition? Because
Cognitive dissonance, I mean, you know what? It's better that I pull up the definition instead of explain it the way I understand it. Define cognitive
is a
dissonance.
psychological state of discomfort that arises when a person holds two or more conflicting beliefs. It's not really a conflicting belief. I mean, they believe that you're a natural born man. That's referring to your sex, and they believe, as they were taught in grammar school, how to properly pronoun people is based on their sex at birth. I mean, that's what I was taught in English class, at least.
Okay, but nobody knows anybody else's sex at birth. Nobody. I
That's why
only know
that's
yours.
why men look like men and women like women. So we know what their sex is. That way, I don't accidentally bang a dude. I mean, that's why we don't have to ask people. We know. I mean, nowadays you
No,
have to ask people, but
people
before,
always have to ask. It's that is why trans women used to get killed in the 80s because people were just assuming based on what they saw. And then they would smash them, and then they would get mad because they felt like they were tricked, even though they jumped straight into bed with this stranger. That was completely on them. No, that the retaliation did
Is it
not need to
on
happen.
them? Is it on them if you act
Yes.
like you're a great boy? If someone acts like they're a great girlfriend to you, and then you
Hmm.
know they didn't tell you that they're a piece of shit, is that their fault for not disclosing it? Is it your fault for I don't know. This is kind of a bad analogy. Maybe I should just
Very bad.
scratch it to begin
Very
with.
bad. Try again. Try again. Do you want to try again? You don't
Sure.
have to.
Say it again. Talk the phrase again.
Right. So what I was saying was
Okay, yeah,
the
that's
part.
like me telling you. That's like me putting on my. That's like me putting on my Tinder profile that standing in front of a Lamborghini, a private jet, and a mansion, and
Mhm.
holding 6 bags of Cartier and Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and then when she says, "Okay, we're gonna go out on a date," and we go to a restaurant, and I bring her to McDonald's, or we go to a restaurant and I ask her to pay the bill, is that just poor marketing? I mean, I'm not talking about in the 70s or 80s because it was different back then, but I'm saying nowadays, is that not just disingenuous marketing a lot of times?
Well, it depends on what I'm on the market for. If I'm fishing for dudes and looking like this because I want to pull a straight man, yeah, that would be on me for like that would be
Manipulating them.
false advertising. But what I'm doing is just being alive, looking like I want to look. That's
No,
it.
I
I'm not
understand,
on.
but like if you have a profile, a dating profile, I would say that you should probably say in the bio that you are, what you are. And just like if I have a dating profile and I'm posting myself in front of mansions, Bugattis, 5-star
Mhm.
hotels, all this crazy stuff, I should probably put in my profile picture that I'm also a broke dick instead of acting like I'm something I'm not, right?
I see what you're saying. That's a much better analogy. However, that's that the part where it breaks is that you're advertising, is that you're fishing, you're reaching for a thing, you're on the market for something. That's the only like incongruency. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
I'll explain. Because me as a let's say it's me and like six other trans bitches in this room. We all just want to look how we look, act like we act, sound how we sound. That's what we want. We're not necessarily on the market or trying to do anything with or to anyone else.
I'm not saying you are, but just a quick recap, that's called misrepresentation.
No, it's not. It's only misrepresentation if someone else is attempting to get a product out of me. If they're trying to get a vagina out of me, they're going to be sadly mistaken and sorely upset when they find out I don't have one. I
Are
never told
most
them I
men on
did.
dating apps for a vagina? I think so.
I would say so as well.
So then it's misrepresentation.
No, it's not.
I think
They
we're just
missed.
gonna have to
They didn't get
disagree.
what they wanted. I
You
know you
don't
do.
think there's any misrepresentation? Like what if you put like on your dating profile woman and nothing about you being trans whatsoever, and then you go on a date with someone? You don't think that's misrepresentation?
No, no, I don't, because there was no expectation of anything that would have to do with my genitalia on that date,
Okay, what
unless, of
if you
course,
okay,
predetermined.
let's go a little bit further then. Let's say
Okay.
that you sit down in the date with the person and they're a woman of course, but they tell you they really don't like transgender people or whatever,
Hmm.
and then you proceed, or then like would you come out and tell them, or would you like how do you feel about trans people that lie and don't tell their partner that? And I'm not saying you specifically.
No,
they
I
they,
know.
they, they sit at a date with someone and the person says, "Hey, I don't like trans people," and then they go home and sleep with that person. Do you think that's morally okay? Do you think it's the person's fault for not asking, or even after, not to mention they said they didn't like trans people? How do you feel about that?
About that situation specifically, I think that's on the trans person. They put themselves in harm's way at that point. If somebody tells me, and I've had this happen, like one of my neighbors recently, I found out doesn't like trans people. And I found this out when she took me to the store. That was concerning because now I'm away from my house and I don't have a way back except the car with her. So, uh, in that scenario specifically, if I'm the trans person on the date, the woman I'm with tells me she doesn't like trans people, I'm ending the date and I'm leaving. I'm not talking to that person
Awesome,
again. I'm getting
awesome,
the fuck up
awesome.
out of there.
Because you know what
Yeah,
would be called for the people that continued to speak with that woman and then had sex with them? You know what that would be called?
I'm curious.
That would be rape. If a woman tells you or a man tells you they don't want to have sex with a transgender person and you don't tell them and then you have sex with them, that is rape. That's legally rape. I'm just letting everyone know out there.
I'll
Same
concede.
thing. Same thing with anything else. If you know a woman tells you that she doesn't want to, I don't know, probably another bad analogy coming here in a second, but say a woman says she doesn't want a guy that's circumcised or whatever, and then you proceed to have intercourse with that woman. I mean, strangely enough,
Yeah, bad analogy. Bad
that could be
analogy.
considered grape. That could be considered grape.
Mm, not that one. That
Here's
one
a
is
better analogy. Here, I got a better
yeah.
one.
Let's try
If
again.
a woman tells you in a date and she says, "I don't want anyone to, nut or finish whatever inside of me," and
That would
then she does, that's
correct.
great. There you go. But
That
say,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, it
sure,
would
that's
be.
a better
So I think
analogy.
I think even simpler than that, like avoiding any of these hypothetical situations, is when
Yeah,
someone tells you
just
no
being
to
honest.
anything, just don't fucking do it.
Yeah, just be
Don't do it. If
honest.
somebody says
Yeah,
no, just
I
don't do the
agree.
thing. Yeah, it's really that simple. That comes down to like everything, like bodily autonomy, period. Like I don't even my nieces and nephew, if I want a hug, so I ask, can I have a hug? And they say no, do I steal the hug? Absolutely not. No, because that's me driving home and indoctrinating them the point that they do not have autonomy over themselves. They can't deny anyone else access to their bodies. That would be a problem. So no. If they tell me no, that's it.
Someone is asking if the rates of harm go down after transition, is it not better to transition no matter what, even regardless of any other reasoning? Trans equals low SH rates. Where's the problem? I already explained this to you before. People that are straight and cis and they don't
Transition?
transition. They don't transition. They have lower rates of suicide because they're not trans, and trans people have higher rates of suicide. So when you become trans, you have the same suicide rates as trans people, or you transition, whatever you want to call. I'm not saying become. You transition. You have higher rates
Right.
of suicide. So
Okay,
how
so
is having even if having a surgery after that lowers your rates as a trans person like you'll have lower rates as a trans person than having suicide. Maybe you have lower rates of other people that weren't able to that were also already trans, whatever. Sure, maybe that's possible, but if you would have never gone, if you would have never transitioned in the first place, you wouldn't have the same rates of unaliving.
no, that's not how that works. Because they're still counted as transgender whether they physically transition or not. Like I'm transgender.
Well, if they
Never
say
had
they're
any
not
procedure.
transgender and they believe they're not transgender, then they're not counted as one.
Correct, because the only person that can say they're transgender is them. So if they say they're
Exactly.
not,
So
they're not.
if they don't transition and say they're when they transition, when someone transitions, I would say that starts when they say they're transgender, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yeah, when they
Okay, so
make that declaration, when they make that little
before they come up with that idea, they have a lower suicide rate.
well, I mean, they have a lower suicide rate because they're still alive. But if
Well,
they
because they're not
the trans
trans.
the transit well, if they're not trans, then they're just not trans. But if they are and they come out, that's when the struggles really begin. That's where the suicidality comes from.
Yeah,
So yeah, then say again.
I said yes, I agree.
Okay, yeah. So it's not necessarily about when they transition or that they transition. It's them declaring it and making it, generally public knowledge and social information. That's when the struggles start. They can be trans in the closet their whole lives. I was resigned to do the same thing, but I was outed.
Um, did you ever beforehand? Did you have when you were having not to get too graphic, but when you were having relationships with women previously, did something in that relationship make you feel that you were uh like a trans woman when you were having relationships with women previously? Was it anything with that
I just
relationship that or no?
no, I've known that I was trans since I was 5. Then I had words to put to it when I was 27. I came out when I was 32. So no, nothing's ever changed with my relationships with women. Nothing.
But you've always been attracted to women. You've never been attracted to men.
Nope.
Never even like an
Nothing.
experimental relationship or anything like that.
Mm-mm. I don't like guys. Why would I get into an experimental relationship?
I don't know. You said doing gay stuff doesn't make you gay unless you're attracted to men.
Yeah, but I don't have to do gay stuff. Like, I don't have to like guys, so I don't have to do anything with them. I don't have to. I could if I wanted to, but I don't have to.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, brother? Thank you for those
Hi, Jimmy.
memberships.
I don't know what happened, but hey,
Do you think
lust does
that
not equal love. I agree.
sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, somebody commented lust does not equal love, by the way. And I said I agree with that. You can lust after another guy. That doesn't mean you you love him first off. But then again, if you lust after him, you're attracted to him. That's attraction to a guy. That's gay.
Someone says, "What if you like one man and all women?" Then you're, I mean,
Mm.
then you're gay. I'd say,
That would technically make you bisexual, I suppose, but
yeah, bisexual. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. That's a very special case. Maybe there's a name for that. Maybe under the LGBTQ umbrella, but I don't know. That sounds very specific. I could
this
make a
person
call on it. It
says.
doesn't.
I mean, I'll have to agree with this person. I mean, if you want to have if you want to make this, if you want to legitimize the transgender community, in my opinion, you would have to start by making some kind of expectations on what it means to be trans, not just saying anyone can be anything they want. But this person says the same thing. They say the fact that anyone can be a woman or a man on a whim is just ridiculous.
Okay, so ridiculous is a bit of a confrontational word, wouldn't we say? But
But
being
that was them.
transgender,
Go ahead.
how's it confrontational? Ridiculous. If somebody calls your identity ridiculous, that's confrontational. It's confrontational as fuck. But the idea of a gender is an internal identifier. We've gone over this, but I'm talking to the guest in the chat. So, gender is an internal identifier. I know your mind wants to conflate it with biological sex. I know that. That's reflex and I get it, but that's not the truth. That's just not what it is. So, a gender is something I can tell you. Now, I'm not going to say there aren't people out there taking advantage of it and trying to get attention off it by constantly switching and calling themselves weird and making shit up from day to day. Yeah, people do that, and that's very delegitimizing to us. But unfortunately, because it's an internal identifier, we can't tell them that they're wrong. We can't tell them that they're incorrect about their gender. It's impossible because only they know the truth. So I live my truth by telling you I'm a woman. Plain and simple.
If she
If she
does
doesn't date
date
trans
trans
women,
women, she is transphobic? Question mark.
um, who said I don't date trans women? Those would be women. I haven't dated any trans women. All my girlfriends have been cis. All my girlfriends currently are cis. And
But would you date a
no,
trans woman since you said you're attracted to women and trans women are real women according to you? Would you date a trans woman?
would I? Sure. I mean, I don't see why not. I just haven't come into contact with any that I would date. It's
Have
not
you
off
ever
the
seen any
table.
pictures of any of them online that you would date?
Yeah. I had a huge crush on Laverne Cox. I still do.
I don't know who that
Laverne,
is, but at least we got one
no, she's an
example.
absolutely beautiful black trans woman. She's gorgeous. There's no such thing as cis. That means you don't know what cis means.
I actually don't know what cis means. Tell us, please.
Oh yeah, sure. So cisgender comes from the Latin term cis. Let me look up the whole word because it might just be a
So
prefix.
you don't know what it means then.
No, I know what it means. It means on the same side of. I was going to give you the rest of the words, smartass. Cis origin. It means on the same side of or on this side of, as opposed to trans, meaning on the other side of. Yeah, that's where cis and trans come in. So cis is not a slur. It's a real thing and it makes sense. It's Latin. It's a prefix. Because like a lot of these cisgender women in the chat say, they don't want a trans woman in women's spaces, right? If you have to call me trans, then that means I'm not like you, meaning you're something else. Cis. It's not a slur. It's a descriptor.
Someone said cis is demeaning. I would also have to agree. Why should we call women cis women? Why can't we just call them women?
Okay, cool. Call them women, then call me a woman. Don't call me trans.
But you're trans. You even said that there's a difference between trans and real women.
If I'm
That was
trans,
out of your
she's
own
cis.
mouth. Huh?
If I'm trans, they're cis. If she's not cis, then I'm
They're
not
not
trans.
cis, they're just regular women.
Then I'm a regular woman.
But a
Take off
woman
the
is
descriptors.
gender. There's no when you fill out a plane ticket, there's no identifier that says cis woman versus trans woman.
Correct. So I would just check woman, wouldn't I?
Well, it depends. I don't think you would be able to get a passport that says you're a woman.
I disagree.
I disagree. I've seen what they've done. They used to have a marker for trans people. They used to have an X
Uh,
marker you could put on
Yeah,
your
they used to.
passport, and
They got
they
rid of
got
it.
rid of that. So I don't think
Yeah, they
that
did.
trans people can get their passport they want.
Imagine that. Why would that be?
And this guy literally says cisgender has been around since 1994. It's not new. Brother, that's pretty new. It's
I
pretty
mean,
new.
that's 1994 would be pretty new, but it's been around since way before then. So I believe that guy was misinformed a bit. Cisgender, like cis, if if the term cis is Latin, that means it's older than English. It's not new, guys. It's not new. People are just suddenly offended by it now. I'm not sure why either, because if I can be openly called trans by other people, that's fine. It's a badge I wear proudly, clearly, but I don't see why cis would be a bad thing. Like you like being a woman that has woman parts. Why can't I say that you're a woman that has woman parts? I
What are you
don't see
trying to
how that.
say? Transgender women don't have women parts? What are you trying to say?
Oh, female parts. You're right. You caught me. Female
So
parts.
you are
You're a woman.
you just admitted you're
You're not a woman. You are a woman that has female parts. No, I messed my speech up. Yo, you
you
caught me. You
have
caught me.
to you have to be so progressive that you have to fix your own words and your own wording and your own speech.
So I can't slip up.
No, I'm saying that if you want us to go by this and you're slipping up as much as you do, then why should we even go by this? Why should could just throw this all we could just take all this stuff, crumple it up, throw it
Right.
away, and not even care about it being politically correct if this,
Right.
that, the third. And then when you
So
slip up, you
because
don't have to apologize to me. And if I slip up,
so
I don't gotta apologize to you. We still respect
yeah,
each other. No
cool.
anger, no hatred, none of that
Yeah.
stuff, right? Is that
Okay.
not a fair thing to ask for?
Yeah,
Or do you
that's
think that's
absolutely not
unreasonable?
fair at all. Because I slip up once, we take the entire gender argument and throw the whole thing out the window and just not respect anyone's identity because I made a mistake once. You know how many mistakes you made during this conversation? I'm
I
not
don't
calling
need
that
you
shit
to
to account,
respect my identity, though. I don't care if someone respects my identity. The
but I
only thing I
should.
care
Why
about,
would I not? But
huh?
why would I not do that? Like, you're a human, you deserve respect, right? Why would I disrespect you? I'm not going to do that. That would be a dick move.
I mean, you got a fair point there, but at the same time, I don't care. If you want me to call me a her for the rest of the stream, go ahead and do it.
I don't want to do that.
Please, no, that's my preferred pronoun. Call me a her for the rest of the stream. I want to show you that I don't care. So please refer to me as
So,
she slash her.
okay, I can do it, but why? You just said you didn't have
Because
anything to
I
prove
want
that
to show you that it doesn't matter to me.
you don't have to show me that. You said
I'm
it. I
confident
believe
with
you.
my own identity. I'm not
That's
saying that you're
okay.
not, but I'm just saying if we're
Okay.
all confident, what's the issue here?
Nothing. I'm respecting you by calling you what you want to be called. That's it.
And
That's how
what
things should
about
be.
you
That's
mentioned
normal.
before, what did you
Mm.
call it? Not non-binary. We know what that is. You said
Neo pronoun.
gender fluid, gender fluid.
Oh, gender fluid. Okay.
If someone is gender fluid, how do you ever choose the right pronouns?
Dude, I don't fucking know. That one confuses me. I'm not really sure. Um, I know one gender queer person, and I haven't talked to them in years. At no point did they ever correct me on their pronouns. Uh, there was always a she to me, and she let me call her that. So I don't know. I've never been in that situation. I haven't the slightest idea. I would have to talk to somebody in that, community to find out anything. I do not have that experience.
So you would even say some of this stuff in your own community is just is just absurd. I mean, you've pointed out multiple things that are, I don't know if you want to say in the trans or the LGBTQ or just the progressive community in general that you think are absurd.
I wouldn't call it absurd, but I would definitely say that I don't understand. I
So
just
there's
don't get it.
multiple things you don't understand.
Yes, yes,
And you
plenty.
think that we should keep progressing in this direction where even people that are a part of this community can't even understand. Do you think this is a good direction to move in? Because in my
Oh
eyes,
God.
it's making people in your community, it's making tougher for people like you, if you ask me.
Oh God forbid we continue learning things.
You don't know what it is, neither do I. What is there to learn? How are we going to learn it if we can't comprehend it? Who's going to teach us? You have a
What
friend
you did hear
that's
what you just said, right? You heard
I mean, who's
that.
going
You
to
heard
teach
yourself.
us? If someone
I
can
know
teach
you
us,
heard
why
me say that.
haven't you been taught? If someone can
You
teach
just
you, if you have friends that are gender fluid, then why can't they teach you what it is?
you remember when I said I don't?
I thought you just said 2 seconds ago you had one friend that was what is it called?
Gender fluid.
Gender queer. So
Yes,
they're not gender they're not what's the difference between
correct.
gender queer and gender fluid?
Gender fluid would be fluid. Gender queer is other.
So what does that mean?
I guess gender fluid would be able to move back and forth on a binary, perhaps. And gender queer is simply not on that binary spectrum.
What's the binary spectrum? Being straight or homosexual?
Man or woman, gender, binary. Two.
So yeah, I still don't understand. So the
I know
queer
you don't.
person are they gay? Like the queer fluid is are you gay? Like
I don't know her sexuality.
well
She
you
was a
said it's queer
coworker.
fluid. So what does that mean? What's the term
I said,
again?
oh my God. You wanna maybe take some notes?
No, no. If I can't
Okay.
remember it, it's probably not too important. I'll try to
Yeah,
remember.
because I'm like, this was like 45 seconds ago. Gender queer, gender fluid. Two different things. I know
Okay.
one gender queer person who was a
What is gender
colleague.
queer?
Oh my God. Gender queer is not on the binary spectrum. Man, woman, binary. They are something else
What's
entirely.
something else? So like a giraffe, a dog, a dinosaur, T Rex.
Yeah, are those genders? Are those genders or are those random animals that you're
Some
naming?
people say that they identify as an attack helicopter or whatever, Apache helicopter.
That was a funny meme when it happened, and no, they don't. Also, they fucking can't. So this person is a different gender.
Okay,
We
what's a
don't know
different
what it
gender
is.
than man, woman,
I don't fucking know. It's
transgender?
not me.
So you
I don't
don't know
know.
what it is then?
Did this
I'm
man?
trying to figure out what it
No.
is. What are they? Are they a person, place, thing, man, human, woman, female, trans? I'm trying to figure out what they are. Isn't that what
Okay.
pronouns are supposed to tell you? Isn't that what your gender is supposed to tell you? What your
Okay.
identity is? Okay, explain to me what this person's identity is. I'm not trying to be
Right.
rude, but I'm trying to figure it
Okay.
out
No,
here.
I get it. I get
And
it.
if it's not
So
something you can define, then
it's not something I can define because it's not my gender, and it was never specifically explained to me because this was a coworker. We didn't get that deep. She didn't
okay, fair
explain
enough.
specifically what her gender was. She just let me call her her and then told me that she was gender queer. This has been a lively debate, and I'm glad we were able to maintain respect for one another and maintain each other's dignity and have a decent conversation.
Absolutely. It was fantastic having you on. Do you have to hop off or can you reply to a couple more people real quick?
I think I have to go. Yeah, I
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
All right.
Have a nice
I'll
evening,
see
though. It
y'all
was
later.
nice having you on.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for your
much.
time.
You too, man.
Thank you as
Bye.
well. Bye bye. Well, that was an interesting debate. I will have to agree with Tom Pepin here. They had let's see. You're forcing pronouns on me as an insult to my intelligence. That's how I want to, that's how I feel when you tell me you want to be called a woman. I'm not seeing a woman sometimes. When I talk to some of these people, I'm not going to say any specific names because I don't want to offend anyone. But it's, when I talk to certain people, when I don't see something and they're telling me there's something, it's like you tell me like you're the strongest man in the world, but I can visibly see that you're 5'2" and you cannot bench press more than 50 pounds. just hard to believe sometimes. That's all I gotta say. It's kind of an insult to, some people's intelligence, in my opinion. That's what the comment was saying. I kind of agree with it, but that was a good guest. I thank them for their time, and that was good. But obviously, we just disagree. We disagree inherently, and I feel like they should have conceded to the fact that woman and man, X, Y, X, X. It's that simple. You want to hop on real quick, Dustley? If not, it's okay. You just made my day. God bless. God bless. I hope you guys all subscribe. Get the likes way, way, way up there. I identify as a trillionaire. That's my gender. That's how I identify. That's my identity. A black trillionaire, to be specific with you. A black trillionaire. But yeah. That was wild, y'all. Do you guys have any final questions or comments? Obviously, I disagree. That was a whole leftist ideology. A whole radical leftist ideology. This individual in the chat says he's not a woman nor a man. She's like a mix of both, and that's something I think maybe that would be intersex. But get the likes up there. I think we can get the 300 likes before we hop out of here. I think we can get the 300 likes, boys and gals. And transgender gals, I guess. Someone says left the conflict when they couldn't explain. No new thought. I just refused to comply. Compelled speech, even if it was for my side. Join the Discord. Join the Discord down below, guys. Can we get up to 300 likes? Subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Get the likes up there, though, guys. Get the likes up there. Join the Discord link right there, guys. If you want to debate, if you want to co-host, if you want to be a guest, let me know, guys. Let me know. Join the Discord. Thanks. We are all dumber after listening to she/it. No, I'm not trying to make you guys dumber. I'm trying to get you guys a perspective of why these people think like they think. But can we get the 300 likes? Just a few more likes, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe. Get the likes up there, guys. All right, guys. Much love to everybody. I'm probably going to go ahead and hop out of here. I'll see you guys later, probably tomorrow, but maybe tonight again in an hour or two. We'll see. Peace out, guys. Have a good one, though. Get the likes up there. Actually, we're so close now. All we need is 10 more likes. Can we get just 9 more likes? 9 more likes? Thank you, Annie. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. God bless everybody. There's only 2 genders, according to the United States President. 2 genders. That's according to the federal government. That's something you can't lie about. When our federal government only recognizes 2 genders, that's not something you can change just because you feel like it or just because your opinion is. That's all, 2 genders. That's it. I mean, maybe when there's Biden or whoever comes next, they can make this magic shit up again if they want. Gender's not a spectrum. I mean, under the United States federal law, there's only 2 genders. And more states are making it so that transgender women cannot go into real women's bathrooms and real women's spaces. And I praise the Lord for that. I think that's fantastic. God doesn't make any mistakes. God made it clear as day that there's only 2 genders. All right, guys, but let's get the likes up there a little bit. Can we get the likes up there? All right, we're going to hop out of here now. But make sure you guys subscribe. Peace out. Have a nice one.